CBS Sports welcomes you to the...
Their commitment to excellence has produced legendary heroes as well as endless memories. And this year, the Raiders are 3-0, and a return to glory appears imminent for the Silver and Black.
And you have one of the best return teams in the Raiders and one of the worst coverage teams in the Bills. Field position will be huge in this game.
The Oakland Raiders, one of two unbeaten teams in the NFL coming into today. They take on the Bills next. Wilson Stadium is rocking downstairs. We go to Beasley Reese.
It's Oakland offense. Now 190 passes this season, only 20 thrown further than 10 yards downfield. This offense is based on quick decisions by quarterback Rich Gannon. Then he's hoping that Tim Brown and Jerry Rice can take a short catch and turn it into a long run. Just something to look for. Back upstairs.
All right, Beasley, thank you. One of the great trademarks so far of Oakland's early offensive season. They get on the throat, baby, and they squeeze early. They're aggressive.
Well, their starts, I mean, they've scored 76 points in the first half and run away from people.
Here we go. Hollis with the kickoff. And Kirby at the 9 for the Oakland Raiders. And a beat on him, Coy Wire, the rookie from Stanford, with a nice special teams tackle at the 14-yard line, a return of 5 yards. He starts in the secondary and comes up with a big special teams play right there. And you know Rich Gannon will be watching Wire this afternoon. So Rich Gannon comes in, the number 7 rated quarterback in the NFL. 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the year.
And the reason Coy Wire be watching Gannon and his receivers, they run so many formations out of basic personnel, a young player can be easily fooled by all the motion.
14-yard line, first down and 10 yards to go. They got Jerry Porter on the fly. And a handoff, Charlie Garner trying to work his way for a yard, and that'll be it. Prelo gets him at the 15, gain of 1, second down and 9 coming up. The Raider offense, the number 1 scoring team coming into today in the NFL. Sims, Stinchcomb with Robbins, Middleton, and the rookie Langston Walker, his first career start. Kennedy, the concussion, he is out. Garner and Ritchie in the backfield. Rice and Brown, the wide receivers, and Roland Williams, the tight end. Second down, 9, 15-yard line. Gannon. And it's caught, 21-yard line, with the tackle made by Watson. It's a gain of 6 on the play. And the catch is made by Tim Brown. Ahanotu, Edwards, Williams, and Aaron Schobel on the defensive line. Linebackers, Fletcher, flanked by Newman and Robinson. And in the secondary, Prelo and Wire, the hard-hitting safeties. Winfield and Clemens are the corners. Third down, 3 from the 21. And again with time, and his receiver falls across the middle. Flag is down. They were going for Rice at the 22.
That was young Coy Wire trailing Jerry Rice on the end of that play. That's a matchup they would love to get. Wire, a linebacker in college, a former high school wrestler, and a running back, but staying with a Jerry Rice is an awful tall order.
This is against the Buffalo Bills. Penalties hurt at times the Raiders
Defensive
a
pass
week ago.
interference on the linebacker. That's an automatic first down.
And that's what Bill Callahan was talking about with his team coming into today. Stay penalty free if you can, and they get this one on Buffalo.
And nobody works under a defense better than Jerry Rice. The reason that that's called pass interference, you're allowed to chuck and move in that 5-yard zone, but the ball was in the air when that contact was made.
Ritchie and Garner in the backfield, 23-yard line, first and 10 for the Raiders. Charlie Garner, again sent right in the middle and brought down by the aforementioned Coy Wire up to the 24, gaining 1, second down, 9.
And Kevin, for my money, this is kind of the missing ingredient right now, the Raiders offense. We know what Gannon can do. We know what Rice and Brown can do. We know what an excellent receiver and all-around weapon Charlie Garner is out of the backfield. But remember, this was one of the top rushing teams in the NFL as recently as a year or 2 ago. But Bill Callahan's come out and started this year just chunking this thing down after down.
Garner in the backfield, second down and 9, 24-yard line. The fake to him, a block by Sims, time for Gannon, who hits his receiver, and it's caught by Rice on a gain of 12 up near the 30s. Now they wipe it away. Overruled was the one official on the near side. So it is 3rd and 9. Dropped by Rice.
And this is something you don't see very often out of Jerry Rice, is once he gets his hands on the ball, he usually brings it in. He's usually very, very sure-handed. But we've seen the last couple of years in the NFL, if there's any doubt in the official's mind that that ball contacted the ground after contact with the ground, they're going to call that a non-catch.
Terry Kirby is checked in. Ritchie back there with him. 3rd down and 9 at the 24. You see the play clock. Gannon nimbly moves up, wobbling pass, and it's caught by Brown, tumbling at the 45. A pickup of 21, working on Chris Watson. 1st and 10 Raiders.
Do these guys look like bookends or what, folks? You've got 81 lining up next to 80. You can barely tell the body types. The only difference is the numbers. Both are surefire Hall of Famer. Tim Brown's the guy that runs after the ball as good as anybody that's ever played this game, and Jerry Rice is a receiver who came in as a real down-the-field receiver who learned from a guy named John Taylor at San Francisco how to run with it after the catch.
Not a bad manner at all. 45-yard line after the 21-yard reception. Little shovel pass, and it's caught by Garner, who takes it for 4 to the 49-yard line. Pat Williams brings him down. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Put yourself, Kevin, on the Buffalo defense and think of what you've seen so far. You've seen Charlie Garner running the ball. You've seen Charlie Garner taking it on a shovel pass. You've seen Jerry Rice. You've seen Tim Brown. You haven't even gotten around to the tight ends yet, and some of the other wide receivers and weapons that Bill Callahan's offense has. If you're a defense, you've got to be so mentally flexible to play this team and alert.
2nd down, we'll call it 6, just outside the 49. He's changing the play. Garner moving up in the backfield and offering a block. And down the side as he flings it for Brown, incomplete. Covered by Watson, who a lot of quarterbacks go at on this Buffalo defense.
Well, you've got two wide receiver, or 2 corners, and Clements and Winfield, who are as good of man corners as there are in this league. Now you get Watson, you get the nickel type situation, you get a chance to go after Watson. It's only natural. He will be the guy everyone will pick on till further notice. He stood up fairly well so far, and he's also an excellent special teams contributor.
Kirby back in the backfield. 3rd down and 6, 49-yard line. Number 1 3rd down team in the NFL. Changing the play.
This is when Rich Gannon is his most dangerous. His receivers adjust as well as anyone.
Play clock at 1. Someone moved. There go the flags. Unless they got the timeout in time.
And Nate Clements in the defense is just begging for this 12th man to help him out with the sound.
Ball start. 66 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And that is the rookie, a 2nd-round pick out of Cal, Langston Walker. As you take a look at Buffalo coach Greg Williams in his 2nd season, the former defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans.
And he is a coach, and Tom Donahoe is barely the runner of the football side of this business for the Buffalo Bills. Have something very special going on. There's a lot more to this team than just Drew Bledsoe.
3rd down and 11. Kirby in the backfield from the 44. Here comes Robinson. There goes Gannon. Grabbed by Fletcher, but shy of a 1st down. London Fletcher stops the scrambling Rich Gannon after a gain of 4. Flags are thrown on the field, a couple of them. After the play at the 48-yard line, ball was down.
And this is something you also haven't seen a lot of after the play. When things break down, Rich Gannon getting big yards. A lot of that last year, but they've thrown the ball so quickly, they haven't had to really use that tool. But I think what we had here was a personal foul. It's going to fall against the Raiders. Little late contact.
They had 3 of them last week, 2 on their center, Barrett Robbins, something that, like we said earlier in our broadcast, really irritated Bill Callahan, the Raider coach. It's against Oakland.
I thought I saw Jerry Rice involved in a little altercation with some of the defenders.
Personal foul, number 80 of the offense. After the play was over, that's a 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
What did you see?
And, you know, it's not so much that Bill Callahan says mistakes are bad. Everybody knows mistakes are bad, but mistakes from veteran players like that are pretty much lack of poise. And losing your poise, that's when a coach gets terribly disappointed in one of his leaders.
Charlie Rogers is awaiting the kick from Shane Lechler. The snap by Adam True. Lechler, a Pro Bowler a season ago. And on the fly from the 29, Rogers. He got a block from Bryson. And after a 38-yard punt, he returns it 10 yards. He's up near the 40-yard line. Already you can hear the chants of True, True. They love him here in Buffalo. Oakland just punted. Buffalo and Drew Bledsoe convene at the 40-yard line, where it is 1st and 10. Bledsoe comes in as the #1 rated quarterback in terms of completion percentage and #2 rated overall in the NFL. Pitch out to Travis Henry, a Philip Crosby block. And he's out crawling to the 41-42. Eric Barton out there on the stop. It's a gain of 2 on the play at the 42. And Kevin Gilbride is the offensive coordinator.
A great meld between he and Bledsoe. They seem to operate with one brain.
2nd down, long 8, play action. Here comes Bledsoe being chased by lumbering Sam Adams, and out of bounds he goes. At about the 41-42. In fact, he lost about a yard on the play. Barton was over there along with Adams chasing.
Bledsoe was lumbering. No pick on the big guy. Sam was going as fast as he could.
Armstrong, Adams, Perella, and Bryant. Those 2 tackles have made a difference for the middle linebacker Napoleon Harris, who's got Barton on one side and the great Bill Romanowski on the other. Brings a great intensity. Buchanan and James are the corners. Woodson and Gibson are the safeties, and that group is orchestrated by Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator. His dad used to coach here in Buffalo, in fact, many years ago. 3rd down and 8 from the 42. Shotgun snap. Good time for Bledsoe. Fires a pass and incomplete. Broken up. Going for the rookie out of LSU, Josh Reed. And it's 3 and out for the Buffalo Bills.
And the Oakland Raider defensive unit is really, after 3 games, I don't think we're really positive about what we're seeing so far. You know, what's the personality of this defense? The offense has jumped on people so quickly. The defense has basically been playing pass defense. They say, hey, look at those defensive numbers against the run. You know, so what? Everybody's throwing against you because they're behind.
Philip Buchanan, who returned to punt last week for a touchdown against Tennessee, is back inside the 15. Ryan Moorman retrieves a high snap and lets it fly. They're caught by Buchanan at the 12. I think he felt the pressure of Prelo bearing down on him. 46-yard punt. We'll get our second look at Rich Gannon when we come back to Buffalo.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. T-Mobile, get more minutes, more features, more service. And by Saturn, makers of the View, the redesigned L Series, and coming soon, the all-new Ion.
With Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan, Buffalo. Both teams have had it once. Both teams have punted 13-yard line after the Buffalo punt for the Raiders. Garner in the backfield for quarterback Rich Gannon. And whips it outside where it's caught by Tim Brown. They went to him 3 times on their first series. Here he picks up 11 yards and he's out to the 23-yard line for a first down.
You just saw something that I think this team does better than anybody else in the league, Kevin, and that's adjust by the wide receivers. They see a certain defense. They know when to cut off the routes. Look at the pad. See the pad? Rich Gannon knows the pad's there, and he also knows his receivers are just going to stop their patterns, take the easy 8, 9, 10 yards. You can't do this consistently against these receivers. They're too smart.
Outside the 23, 1st and 10. And off to Garner. And he goes right into the defense. Very little there. Pat Williams hit him first. So in other words, a receiver is reading much like a quarterback reads the defense.
And it's one of the real keys to why they've gotten off to the starts they have offensively. Now, last week was an aberration as far as that goes because of the 2 returns for touchdowns on the punts. But this is a football team that in the first half just sort of does a road runner on people. You know, all you hear is the beep, beep, and you see the smoke as they're running away from it.
Who's the coyote? That's the question from week to week. 2nd down and 9 on the 25. They're going to send Garner wide. So with an empty backfield, Middleton with the block, and there's a pass. Joey Porter across the middle, brought down immediately by Prelo, 29-yard line, and picks up 5 on the play.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You can 99, 2000, 2001, this year. Look at that, folks. 76 points, and that's in 3 games. Over 250 yards offense, and this is just in the first half. Bill Callahan's football team will just flat go away on you.
Raiders going without a huddle here.
That's typical of this team. Pressure on the defense and their substitutions.
3rd down and 4 from the 30. Gannon throws out of the reach of the double-covered Tim Brown. Incomplete pass. 4th down. Raiders have got to punt.
And once again, they're punting. First 2 possessions I talked about earlier. Special teams, field position. Bill Callahan knows his team so far has started on the 14 and the 13-yard line. Games like this and your offensive game plans depend on field position. When you're backed up, your book's not quite as wide open. You have to be more conservative.
Leckler to punt. The second today. Charlie Rogers deep back inside the 25. The ex-Seattle Seahawk watches this sail into the end zone. What a kick off the turf, and he was aiming for the side.
Any questions about which way the wind's blowing? You think maybe from right to left of your TV screen?
That's a 70-yard punt by Leckler. Timeout.
Back here in Buffalo, no score. Both defenses doing one heck of a job. And as far as the Buffalo defense, when they don't know what to do, Randy Cross, they've been playing man-to-man. That's not normally the case. And for Oakland, Rod Woodson is one of the best readers in the National Football League. Let's see if he can keep them going. Back to you.
And Beasley, you know, Rod Woodson reading means he's going to jump and take a guess.
After the Raider punt, 1st and 10 for the Buffalo Bills from the 20. Incomplete, whistling over the head of Philip Crosby to the disgust of Bledsoe. Bledsoe has started the game 0 of 2.
And it's one of the things a little different about this football game, folks. If you've watched over the last month, you've heard guys like me talk a lot about cover 2 and soft defenses. And Kevin Gilbride's offense has seen some soft defenses. This is not a soft defense, and neither is Buffalo's. Both teams like to play man. You're going to get totally different looks out of both defenses than really you're used to seeing.
Bledsoe has not thrown an interception in 151 consecutive passes. 2nd and 10 from the 20. Outside low, incomplete. Looking for Moulds. Covered on the play by Shaw. He's 0 of 3 to start the game.
And Drew is not happy because coming from the backside, he knew he had a safety blitz coming out of the slot. And that told him one thing, that's get it out quick, get it out right, and get the heck rid of it. The blitz is coming in from this direction, and he wants to just get rid of it right now. And he got rid of it. No skipsies, I keep telling you. No skipsies.
3rd and 10 from the 20. Both offenses trying to get on track right in the middle of the NFL. Buffalo on 3rd downs this year. High snap, bobbled by Bledsoe, outside, incomplete. Covered by Shaw was Moulds. Flag is thrown at the 33-yard line. Little hold maybe, huh? Outside on the receiver?
A little tug. When you get a lot of this man, you're going to see a lot of contact, a lot of grabbing and shoving.
Is Bledsoe getting the ball away quicker when you watch tape?
Well, he and Gannon.
Contact, number 22 defense. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's Terrence Shaw, now a Raider, a former San Diego Charger. See, look at the top of the screen, manned up, corners, manned up. This is Terrence Shaw right here. You're going to see a lot of this from both teams. That puts the emphasis on the wide receivers' techniques to escape and on the cornerback's ability to stay with them. That looked to me like very good coverage.
1st down from the 25. Bledsoe again to the air. Pocket crumbling, outside he goes. His first completion to Travis Henry for no gain. Eric Barton, the linebacker, was out on the side, makes the stop. 2nd down and 10. Henry's had a penchant for fumbling over the last handful of games. In fact, every game he's played this year, he's had 1 fumble, 2 of which have been returned for touchdowns by the opposition.
Right, Denver, and then last week it happened again. And you know, once you get labeled a fumbler, people approach you differently. They try to rip the ball out of your arms more than normal. And it is a normal defensive action, but people will go after the ball until further notice, until you prove you're going to hold on to it.
Second down 10, 25 for Bledsoe. And whacked, drilled by Barton again, and a loss in the play of 3 yards. He came streaming through. He plays very well against the run, as Travis Henry just found out.
When you look at an offensive and defensive line, you want to see the colors stay on the same sides. So you got the blue over here, you have the white over here, and suddenly now you look like you're mixing paint, because you're going to have white leaking all over the blue part. You know, Barton comes screaming through. John Perella, a great free agent ad, makes an excellent play. We're talking about Travis Henry fumbling. It's a wonder he held on to the ball when he got guys that far in his own backfield.
Third down, 13 from the 22. He gets away from Armstrong. There's a flag. He's chased by Travian Smith. Feeds downfield, incomplete. Moulds covered by Woodson inside the Raider 35.
There's going to be a holding, I think, against Buffalo. Yep. Well, Drew Bledsoe still gets around pretty good. I mean, as many hits as he's taken, and look at those. He wears big knee braces on both legs. He's carrying around all that extra fiberglass slash metal slash aluminum.
37 offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And they got a punt. Dan Marino used to have the big braces on both knees like that late in his career.
But that was something you never saw. Dan didn't run the lunch that far in his whole career. Dan's idea of scrambling was kind of shimmying and shifting 3 feet up into the pocket. He did it well, but he didn't do it far.
Long punt. Buchanan is deep back. He's setting up a return. This is kicked into the wind. And fair. Oh, the fumble, and Buchanan jumps on it. He ran into Kirby. A flag has been thrown. It's a 44-yard punt as it stands now, with Buchanan and the ball landing at the 34. As the referee Bernie Kukar has been busy early in this game.
With all the contact between the Buffalo player and the Oakland player, it's hard to discern, you know, did he get the space to catch the punt? He's got to have that halo around him in the space, but was that space crushed and taken away by his own player reducing that space and forcing the Oakland player into him? Or the Buffalo player, I should say.
Raiders last week took care of Tennessee 52-25. Buffalo winning in overtime, their 3rd overtime game of the season, beating Chicago 33-27.
This is a great example. Our rules in this game are wonderful, and everybody thinks they're kind of black and white. And now a hold working here against the Raiders on that block that almost got Buchanan bapped. But there's so much interpretation. You know, it's like any law, any rule. There's so many different interpretations, and Bill Callahan so far through 3 games has seen a lot of different interpretations.
4 penalties already on the Raiders today, 10 last week.
Holding number 99 of the receiving team during the punt. The penalty will be assessed from the spot of the beanbag. The other flag is not a fall. The player was blocked into him. 1st down, Oakland.
It's on DeLawrence Grant.
Very nice job by Bernie Kukar and his staff figuring this out. Remember, you can be blocked into him, then you're not interfering with the returner.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cold down easy. And by Cadillac, bold vehicles, defying convention.
You know, Randy, the 2 offenses today have looked like a couple of Buffaloes out there. Very slow, very sluggish.
And this plays to the Buffalo Bills' advantage. You're facing a team that's used to a fast start. Slow down the fast start. Let's play ball.
Good point. 25-yard line after the Buffalo punt. 1st down and 10. The pitch out. Charlie Garner gets by Schobel. It is knocked out of bounds near the 33-yard line. It's a pickup of 8-9 yards on the play. He had Robinson chasing him on the sideline along with Clements.
Yeah, Kevin, we talked about the formations and the players having to think. You know what that creates? Mismatches. Aaron Schobel, 94. Mismatch against a Charlie Garner. Does a wonderful job. Just get his momentum pushed out. I mean, it's a wonder you even get a hand on a guy, Charlie Garner's speed and ability.
You can cut the corner. 2nd down, long 2 at the 33. Fake end around, screen pass for Garner. And tackled nicely by London Fletcher after a gain of 1. Pat Williams was also there. And they're out to the 34.
If there's one group that I think Greg Williams' defense has to see more of, it would have to be the linebackers of Buffalo. I mean, you got to see more London
Number
Fletcher,
70,
Keith Newman, Eddie Robinson, illegal receiver downfield on the Raiders on that screen. So much stuff going on. It's a wonder it doesn't happen more often. But these linebackers for Buffalo have got to start making bigger plays.
John Ritchie, Zach Crockett in the eye. 3rd down and 1. That's a gain of 2 and should be good for a 1st down. And let's take you to New York in Jim Nantz.
All right, Kevin, the hapless Bengals are down again quickly. Indianapolis scoring here. It's Peyton Manning from 11 yards out, 7-0 Colts. Let's go back to Kevin and Randy.
Thank you, Jim. Cincinnati, one of 3 winless teams in the NFL with the Vikings and the Rams. 1st and 10. 36-yard line, empty backfield for Gannon. Outside he goes. Fletcher with the nice defensive play on Terry Kirby, the running back. It's a gain of 4 to the 40-yard line. 2nd down and 6 coming up.
I tell you one thing, I just talked about linebackers having to make plays, and London Fletcher just made a big play, but what he also did was he made a form tackle. How often nowadays do we see an actual form tackle? I mean, his knees were bent. He shot through the guy with the ball. I mean, that's the way you're supposed to tackle people, not grabbing and hoping.
Kirby in the backfield. 2nd down and 6 at the 40. And again, quickly outside, incomplete, looking for Rice. They had Watson and Wire there. They've been picking on Watson, but that time he gets up on Rice.
Well, you know, eventually you've got to start picking on somebody else if things don't start going. You look at the close by Watson. Look at the arm. See that right arm come in there right in between Rice and the ball and the quarterback? You keep making plays like that, Chris, and they'll go find somebody else to pick on.
More no huddle for the Raiders. 3rd down and 6 from the 40. And across the middle, he hits Tim Brown in open field, and a 1st down, corkscrewing to the 43. He picks up 17 on 3rd down and 6, brought down by Clemens and Prelo. And this will be the best field position for the Raiders today.
You know, one of the things you face when you face the Raiders, look at this kind of bunch formation over here. Charlie Garner's going to come here. Receivers will end up coming this way as other people in this bunch on the right below screen clear everything out. Jerry Porter clears things out, and Tim Brown comes underneath. You're a defensive back, you're a linebacker, you're looking at different personnel packages, and then on top of that, you've got to have all these crossing patterns. They don't throw it far, but they'll drive you crazy with possessions.
Tyrone Wheatley in for the first time. 1st and 10. Oh, deflected nicely by Clemens on the corner on a bullet aimed for Jerry Rice. It'll be 2nd down and 10 as we go back to New York in Jim Nantz.
All right, Kevin, Peyton Manning's not the only quarterback running him in. Here's Jay Fiedler for the Dolphins. Look at him get away from the Patriots. 8-yard touchdown, extra point missed. Final seconds of the 1st quarter. 6-0 Miami. Let's go back to Kevin and Randy.
You know, Jim, Jay Fiedler, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions in his 2 previous games coming into today. 2nd down 10. Gannon whacked as he threw the ball. They were sending him off the corners, and Twan Winfield was right there.
You have to love the aggressive game plan right now for Greg Williams' defense and the way they're attacking this Rich Gannon offense. They are not backing up at all on Rich Gannon. You give him the looks, and you bring the blitz on the outside with the corner coming from out of the slot. Good protection, but at the last second, the one player that can't be accounted for is who breaks up the play.
3rd down 10 at the Buffalo 43. 9th play of this Raider drive.
Watch the veterans, top of the screen.
Good block by Kirby. Here goes Gannon. Has to get to the 33. Has a 1st down and more. And the guy who is one of the great modern-day scramblers shows you why. He was drafted as a defensive back in the NFL. Very quick, very fast. And we saw it right there. He'll be 37 in December. Doesn't look like he's 36 there.
That's not, you're excited. Great modern. I thought I was working with John Facenda there for a second. Great modern day scrambler.
But he is.
But I mean, a 4.5 coming out of Delaware, a guy that basically the game has caught up with. Everybody wanted a pocket quarterback when Rich Gannon first came into the league. This is a perfect matchup of system and quarterback.
Wheatley in the backfield, 19-yard line. The pitch out to Wheatley on 1st and 10. Hurt as a defender. Pat Williams brings him down. Flag is thrown.
That's a hold.
Wheatley landed at the 16.
Yeah, so did Newman, 53, as he was being tackled by Richie, the fullback, number 40. What a coincidence. And these are the kind of mistakes that Bill Callahan talks about. When you're on the road, you can't turn it over, and you can't have dumb penalties.
Holding, number 40 offense. 10-yard penalty. No first down.
That's on John Ritchie, and downstairs to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Just listening to you make the call, you are right on top of this. Buffalo's game plan is obviously to play a lot of man-for-man defense. They are squatting because they know that Oakland throws short passes. That's why you see people attacking Jerry Rice with all his talent and knocking balls out of his hands back upstairs.
Well, like you said, Beasley, 190 passes going in and 133 10 yards or less.
1st and 20 from the 29. Gannon going deep, and he's got Porter for a touchdown.
A lot of looking and pointing right now by the Buffalo defense, because Bill Callahan's play call for his offense was absolutely perfect. So concerned with Jerry Rice, so concerned with Charlie Garner, Tim Brown, you lose track of the other guy. And the other guy last week had almost a duplicate type of play. Jerry Porter had a gimme last week against Tennessee and another gimme right here. Just a defensive breakdown in coverage.
Sebastian Janikowski will try the extra point. And it is 7-0 Oakland. Rich Gannon tossing his 8th touchdown pass of the season, and Jerry Porter a career-long catch. His 3rd touchdown reception of the year. And the Raiders are on the board. Rich Gannon's touchdown pass to Jerry Porter, 7-0 Raiders. And remember, the 24-yard scramble on 3rd and 10 by Gannon gave him that great position.
For all the great starts of this offense, you still haven't seen the total package. That's another key to the package.
Janikowski, who leads the NFL in touchbacks, and that's why he drives Rodgers about 8 yards deep. And that is his 9th touchback of the season. He had 6 last week.
Here's Jerry Porter. Here's Corey Wire. Remember I talked about how formations and defenses gives a young guy trouble? Watch Corey Wire just take a move to the inside, and that's all it takes. As Jerry Porter clears the linebacker, nobody's in the home. I believe the home would be Mr. Wire. It's a tough challenge for a young player. Looking at an offense like this, you got to cut your teeth some way, and some way it can be a little expensive for your football team.
Touchback brings it back to the 20. 1st and 10 for Bledsoe. Good block by Jonas Jennings. And outside the pass is caught by Eric Moulds, the #1 receiver coming into today in the NFL. Picks up 9. He's to the 28.
Yeah, sometimes a receiver or basically a football player up here at Buffalo can be kind of like in the witness protection program. I mean, people don't know about it. Andre Ware was one of the great receivers. I mean, Andre Reed was one of the great receivers in history. Eric Moulds is having a great season. Does anybody know about it around the country? Well, I don't think enough people know about it around the country.
2nd down 1 from the 29. Peerless Price is on the prop. Travis Henry, nice block and a 1st down run. Buchanan can't get him. Gibson can't bring him down. What a run. To the Oakland Raider 41-yard line. A career-long 28-yard run by the former Volunteer from Tennessee. A touchdown pass by Gannon at the end of 1. The Raiders lead the Bills. Oakland Raiders won their first 3 games by an average of 18 points. After 1 quarter of play, up 7-0 on a Gannon touchdown pass with Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan from Buffalo.
And a big run like you just saw Travis Henry make can really do wonders for the enthusiasm. He showed so much emotion. And that's one thing this offense needs a little right now, is a little emotion in how they play.
First play of the 2nd quarter from the 42, 1st and 10. Henry. And slithers for a couple yards before he is taken down. Gibson was in there on the hit, second down.
And the key to the way he can run and Drew Bledsoe can throw is this young offensive line. And Ruben Brown's going to love me because I call it a young offensive line, and he's on it because he's the veteran of that group. But you look at them across the board with Mike Williams, the one pick, Marcus Sullivan, Trey Teague, Ruben, as I mentioned, Jonas Jennings, big, physical, and just now coming together. This has the potential to be a huge force, much like the great offensive lines that I think this organization had back in their Super Bowl days.
Some numbers from the first quarter. Second down 9 at the 41. Bledsoe sets up the screen. There's a block by Williams and a pass caught by Travis Henry, who races out of bounds. He'll be close to a first down, picking up 8. We'll check the spot. Monday on CBS, no shark has ever solved a crime until this one spilled its guts. See why. CSI Miami, the #1 news show of the season. Don't miss an all-new episode of CSI Miami, 10/9 Central, right here on CBS, America's most watched network. It'll be 3rd and 1.
I think next to snakes, #2 on my list of things I don't like.
Sharks.
Sharks.
Especially the innards of sharks.
No. The innards, the outwards, the sight of. No, don't even want to think about going there.
3rd down and 1 from the 33. Bledsoe with time. Throws a completed pass. The first time today he has gone to Peerless Price. He picks up 12 on 3rd and 1. Spot him at the Raider 21-yard line.
And much like the Oakland Raider offense, these receivers do their best work in tight, in close, and crossing on a defense. Not so much up the field, crossing the defense, looking for seams, and Peerless Price. There you saw him shuffle, 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 find that hole behind the linebacker, and get that reception.
Price has his own gaudy numbers like his teammate Moulds. 1st and 10, Buffalo at the Raider 21. Bledsoe's changing it.
Yep, every defense is kind of like an onion. You just got to peel it back till you find the right layer.
Let's see what layer he finds here. To the side, incomplete. Going to Price for a second time. Coverage by James, second down.
And folks, watching there, you just saw something that they worked on in a film room during the week during practice. Drew Bledsoe spends a lot of time with his receivers, Moulds, Price, down the list, saying, when you get a certain defense, look for me to throw the ball in X place. Like this. You get a man-to-man defense running down the field, expect me to throw this ball on your back shoulder. They're going to go over it, and the chemistry will only get better between Drew and his receivers.
Bledsoe 4 of 9 throwing today. Second down 10, Oakland 21. Here comes Bryant. There goes the pass, and outside it goes for Larry Centers, who catches a ball for the 141st consecutive game. That's remarkable. A gain of 5 right there. It'll be 3rd down. 141, only paling in comparison to what Rice and Tim Brown have done in terms of consecutive games with catches.
That doesn't even, those guys don't count.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice has several Joe DiMaggio records.
Rice has caught one. And make it 244 straight.
Yeah, most people in this country haven't seen that many games, much less caught one.
Haven't lived that many days. 3rd down and 5 from the 16. Bledsoe fires a pass. Caught by Price. First down to the 6-yard line. Randy on 3rd and 5. He picks up 10. 1st and goal for the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, you remember the old baseball saying, Kevin, you got to hit it where they aren't. And Drew Bledsoe and Peerless Price, he's going to run the pattern, and Drew is going to throw the ball where they aren't. If they're on the outside, he'll throw it inside. If they're above you, he'll throw it below them.
We were talking the chemistry between Gilbride and Bledsoe. How about the chemistry between these young receivers and Bledsoe?
It all works together. They won a game here 2 or 3 weeks ago where in Minnesota where it was all input from the players and the quarterback, and the offensive coordinator created the game-winning play.
1st and goal at the 6. Henry bouncing outside, stiff arms his way into Shaw. Looked like Dorsett lost a hat. He did. But they throw him for a loss in the play of a couple yards.
That's a bad place to be hatless.
Got to keep on your hat. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
Well, because you're not worried about the guy that just tore your hat. I mean, that was a straight arm and your helmet came off. You're worrying about the friendly stuff coming from behind you. You're playing with Bill Romanowski. Yeah. You might get bit in the back of the head, much less hit in the back of the head by Romo.
Friendly fire. These helmets just fall off so easily, it seems. I remember you putting on yours, you could hardly even get it off, let alone put it on.
Well, everybody has their own style. A lot of guys don't like wearing them loose, and most of the guys that like wearing them loose are guys that haven't had concussions yet.
2nd and goal at the 8. Good time, Bledsoe to his tight end Moore, who caught a touchdown pass last week. He's all the way to the Raider 2, picking up 6. He's a veteran of 11 years out of the University of Pittsburgh.
And both Jay Riemersma and Dave Moore do a lot of work right in this side of the field. You saw him just run by the hash mark. This is where the tight ends in this system live. But not only in the short end of the hash marks, you'll see them go up the seams in the hash marks and try to stretch a defense that way.
Bledsoe will platoon 4 receivers. 11th play of the drive, 3rd and goal. Henry in the backfield. Good block by Williams to the end zone. Touchdown, Peerless Price.
Well, Kevin, we came to Buffalo to see 2 good offenses, and they've both now officially shown up. Another adjustment. That's an adjustment to the defense. Watch Price goes in, bounces out. Drew sees him, touchdown. Chemistry, teamwork.
Bledsoe's 11th touchdown pass of the season. Mike Hollis will try the extra point. The ex-Jaguar puts it up and in, which ties the game at 7. Well, on a drive that was authored by Peerless Price, who had 3 catches on the drive, all on 3rd down. Why not on 3rd and goal at the 2? That ties the game. We're tied at 7. Each of these quarterbacks have thrown a touchdown pass. Gannon for 29 yards. Bledsoe moments ago for 2. And the ensuing kickoff after the Buffalo score. This is Derek Combs, who is at the 10-yard line. A block from Kirby. And a tackle by Jason Bostwick at about the 29-yard line. That is a 20-yard return by Coombs, who's a year out of Ohio State. Let's see how Rich Gannon responds now that we're tied.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Knockaround Guys, coming to theaters soon. The Boston Beer Company, Sam Adams Light, shockingly great taste. And by Ford, no boundaries.
After the Buffalo Bill touchdown pass from Bledsoe, Raiders take over at the 30, 1st and 10. Gannon 9 of 15 with the touchdown pass himself. And right to work on 1st down. Winding up, going for Rice deep, and it's caught inside the Buffalo 40. He circled around the ball like it was a pop fly in baseball. 1st down and 10. They're going to mark him at the 37, a 33-yard gain.
Hey, he had the time to do that. Look at the pad here between he and Winfield, and then look at the pad that develops afterwards between he and Winfield. That's why he had the time to come back for that. Took the shot, almost grabbed it. 5th pass to Jerry Rice, 1st completion.
1st and 10 from the Buffalo 37 for Gannon, who's chased by Ahanotu, and the pass is incomplete. It'll be 2nd down.
You know, I really, it's Chidi Ahanotu still on the ground. I thought the NFL in a lot of ways kind of blew it a little bit last week when the Oakland Raiders played last week, and Jerry Rice set that record. You know, total yards from scrimmage over 21,000. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, Emmitt Smith is going to break Walter Payton's rushing record, dribs and drabs, 20, 30 yards in a game at a time. This is a record combined yardage. This guy has got so many records. He's made, I think, people like me, he's made the officials in the league, he's made the media in general calloused to the greatness that he's put on the field. He's got records that won't never be beaten, because you should never say never as far as that goes. But Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak, Jerry Rice's touchdowns, Jerry Rice's catch, Jerry Rice's total yards. That game should have been stopped last week. They should have removed the ball from play, brought it to Canton, and we should have made a lot bigger deal of what this guy achieved last week with that 21,000 plus in total yards from scrimmage.
Now he has caught a pass in 245 consecutive games. 2nd down and 10. Charlie Garner with the block from the tight end, Roland Williams, and there he goes. Touchdown saving tackle by Watson. 35-yard gallop. 1st and 10 Oakland Raiders.
I'll give you an analogy what you just saw, folks. You remember the last 3 years or so what Marshall Faulk did for the St. Louis Rams? Charlie Garner, closest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Look at the blocking he gets up front from Sims and Stitchcomb. Nice block by Middleton, pulling over from his right guard spot. This is the impact this kind of ball player can make, and this is the importance of this offense.
Zach Crockett on 1st and goal and shy of the end zone.
Well, every offense, Kevin, has those that take it a long way and those that take it a short way. Zach Crockett's in charge of the latter.
Yes.
He's the short way running back for Bill Callahan and the Raiders.
That's only his 2nd carry of the season. 2nd down, goal at the 1.
But that's got, I mean, the line loves to block down close. I mean, this is the macho thing here. Running backs have got to hate going 40 yards and not scoring. They're watching somebody else get the touchdown.
The fake to Crockett. Here comes Gannon, and he'll be in for 6. His first, and a flag is thrown.
You've got to hold on somebody.
It's against the Bills. Count it as Gannon rumbles in for his first rushing touchdown of the year.
Holding number 55 defense. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
What did I say at the very beginning when the Raiders got the ball, Kevin, about the missing ingredient being this guy doing exactly this, running. If you add this on a consistent basis, we've already discussed the pressure this offense puts on a defense. Add this extra tool, this extra weapon that's been there all year, just hasn't been used. You don't want to be a defensive coordinator getting ready for these guys and losing sleep.
Janikowski's extra point is up and in. So in his 52nd consecutive start for the Oakland Raiders, Rich Gannon has scored 2 touchdowns. Well, the Oakland offense is strumming right along. Gannon has run for a touchdown. He has thrown for a touchdown. That last drive, a 35-yard run by Charlie Garner, set it up.
Yeah, but the quarterback got to finish it.
That's right. The ensuing kickoff and second touchback today by Sebastian Janikowski. Let's take you across the USA with Randy Cross.
Just a few subjects to nibble on a list if you would like to. 53. I agree with Steve Spurrier what he said this week. They should be able to suit up everybody they're paying. Why should you have deactive players? You want to see better special teams? Let everybody play. Overtime. It's perfect the way it is. I don't want to go to the college system. Overtime is overtime. First to score should get it, and respect for authority. You know, athletes, entertainers, people like that don't so much really live in the real world, and most of them really don't show much respect for authority. We need more of that in sports.
1st and 10 from the 20 after the touchback, and Bledsoe going deep, and it's incomplete. Flag is thrown on Philip Buchanan, who is jousting down the sideline with Peerless Price.
There's a really good reason that Peerless Price only got one hand on that ball, because the other hand was in Philip Buchanan's pocket. He had a good grip on that other hand.
Interference, 31 defense. That's a 1st down.
Handcuffed by the rookie from Miami.
It's the hand play down the sideline. We talked about Chris Watson, 21 for Buffalo, getting picked on. You got to go after a rookie. You got to let Peerless Price do it. Look at the hand. Arm, one hand. I don't agree. You know, Beasley Reese and I talk about all the time, what happened to defensive backs looking back? You know, when those hands go up for a receiver, why can't you look at the ball?
It's like a 41-yard penalty. 1st and 10 inside the Raider 40. And here comes Kenyon Coleman, who is a rookie and playing for his first time in the NFL. Number 90, a 5th-round pick out of UCLA, who forces Bledsoe to throw it away. Next till halftime is on deck. Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer. All the scores for you. Tons of highlights. A very interesting day in the NFL. That's next on the Nextel halftime report. 2nd down and 10. Rod Coleman is out today because of a left knee problem. He also had an ankle too. He was banged up last week against Tennessee. So they go with Kenyon Coleman.
Empty backfield, Kevin.
2nd down and 10 inside the 40. Oh, somebody moved.
lot of finger pointing. That's the best time. When in doubt, point. Even if you're wrong, point.
Yes. Make it look good.
Delay a game offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Yep, backfield was empty, so was the clock.
Saints on top of Pittsburgh. Giants and Cowboys tied down at Texas Stadium. Seymour scores, rolling in front. Interesting matchup there between Atlanta and John Gruden's Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But Atlanta has some very inferior athletes on their lines, defensive and offensive. They're lucky they have an athletic quarterback. That'll be a trying indication there. It'll be a real telling indication in Atlanta between those two teams.
Vic can smoke him, man. He can fly. Second down, 15 from the 45. Low snap. Here comes Bryant. There goes the pass by Bledsoe outside to the rookie Josh Reed, who was corralled by Terrence Shaw after a gain of 5. Back to the original line of scrimmage inside the Raider 40.
You remember when you had kids, you got that little book, you know, the little engine that could, and that whole I think I can, I think I can. That's the one thing that really impresses me right now so far early in this season about the Buffalo Bills. Whether you're talking about the offense or the defense or the special teams, the cheerleaders, the fans, Drew Bledsoe's got everybody that watches the Buffalo Bills sitting there saying, I think I can, I think I can. They have that confidence back.
Never say die. Third down and 11. Bledsoe with time, going deep down the side, it's caught. Josh Reed inside the 5.
I think he did.
Yes.
I think he did.
He knows he can. He knows he can.
That's why they think they can. The reason why they think they can, they've got Drew Bledsoe sitting back here. Defenses know he'll hold it till the last second to get a shot for his receiver. Was Josh Reed open? Absolutely not. Did Drew Bledsoe believe somehow, some way, his guy would find a way to get the ball? He absolutely did.
That's a 38-yard pickup, first and goal at the 2. The fake to Henry. Bledsoe with the pocket crumbling to the end zone. Touchdown. Tight end Dave Moore.
Flag went down right at the snap. It's offsides against the defense of the Oakland Raiders.
Offside on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Dave Moore is getting a little bit of a highlight film to get put together for himself. We talked earlier about the offenses getting off to a slow start. There's nothing slow to what the Buffalo Bills and the Oakland Raiders are now doing offensively.
Back-to-back 80-yard drives and the Hollis extra point to tie the game. 6:42 to play in the first half. Dave Moore catches a touchdown pass for the second consecutive week.
And once again, we see a receiver, first of the Raiders, now the Bills, wide open.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Gateway, a better way. And by Subway, fresh-made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway, eat fresh.
With Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan, 2 Bledsoe touchdown passes. Rich Gannon has thrown a touchdown pass and run one in. We're tied at 14. Kirby from the 11-yard line for the Oakland Raiders. Hit by Philip Crosby and maybe a fumble on the play, but looks like they jump back on it. Also coming through for the Buffalo Bills, Anthony Denman. And let's go to the sideline and Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Watching Charlie Garner run toward the end of the last series for Oakland reminds me of what Coach Callahan told us. He plays with passion, with so much passion that it's infectious and that the rest of the team feeds off of it. That's another thing that Charlie Garner brings to his Oakland Raiders. Back to you.
And, you know, Bees, it's something you don't really associate with some of the old Raider teams. They had that sort of detached, emotional, a non-emotional edge. Now this is a very emotional team.
25-yard line, first and 10. Gannon with the play action. And that whistles over the head, downfield. Rice, incomplete pass. Second down and 10. Coy Wire was there.
And a lot of that personality comes from the coach. And at the very beginning of the game, we talked about Bill Callahan and the job that he's done, you know, so far. And obviously, folks, it's only a month. I realize that. But this is a team that last year was good. Last year lost in that controversial game in New England in the divisional playoffs. But this is a team that he's gotten better. That's one of the hardest things to do, is to get a good team and to improve it.
Good point. Second down, 10, 25-yard line. Garner, a Middleton block. And he finds a crack and runs into the grasp of Ahanotu at the 33. It's a pickup of 8. He's carried it 6 times for 54 yards today. Catch an all-new week of the Emmy Award-winning Late Show with Dave Letterman and his guest stars Michelle Pfeiffer this week, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Johnny Knoxville, Charles Barkley, and Bon Jovi. An all-new Dave this week right here on CBS, America's most watched network. 33-yard line, 3rd down and 2. Kirby is in the backfield. Rice is on the move. He's chased by Ahanotu and throws down the side. It's caught, but was Porter inbounds. They confer.
It's thumbs up or thumbs down.
Thumbs up, a catch at the Buffalo 42-yard line.
And this is one of those plays that's got replay written all over it. If the video shows that maybe he's not inbounds. Nice job by Rich Gannon creating the time to be able to go. It's one drag.
Yep, you got it.
Toes in.
That's a catch.
Fans aren't going to love it, but that's, you know what that is? That's a young receiver being around Jerry Rice and Tim Brown and learning how to do that correctly.
After that 25-yard gain, 1st and 10, they go back out to Porter, who got a touchdown pass earlier in the game. And he weaves his way to the 37. Picks up 6 on the play. 2nd down coming up.
You don't think he should consider himself one of the luckiest players in the NFL, do you?
What manners he has.
You're a young guy. You're drafted to the Raiders to start with, who love wide receivers. Love to go down the field. It's been the tradition. What do you find when you get to the Raiders? Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, a passer like Rich Gannon. You're in heaven if you're Jerry Porter.
2nd down 4. Garner is in. 36-yard line of the Bills. The pitch out to Charlie Garner. Around the corner, gets by Wire. Got a great block downfield by Jerry Rice. And that gives Garner a touchdown. Rice opened the door.
Another mismatch. You saw it earlier, remember? It was Charlie Garner and Aaron Schobel. Just Schobel barely got him to go out of bounds. There was no one there to stop Charlie Garner. Watch Wire here. Rice goes in motion, and the quick flip by Rich Gannon. Motion all goes to the left. The quick flip. Here's Jerry Rice. There's the block. I mean, he didn't crush him. He impeded him. We'll give him an impede. Not quite a block, but a good impede. But at almost 40, it's tough to impede anything.
We'll take that. Rice will turn 40 in a handful of days. 36-yard touchdown run by Charlie Garner.
A wonderful concept. Game planning and execution by the Raiders.
Raiders get their 2nd rushing touchdown today as Garner's getting that team riled up on the sideline.
Beasley told us earlier about that emotion and that fire, and that's what he brings to this football team. But, you know, if you're looking at this from the other position, good offense so far. But the Buffalo defense has been burned a couple times. We're going to find out the rest of this half and next half if they have that kind of emotional amnesia. Enables them to come back and keep fighting.
Janikowski kickoff. Another touchback, his 3rd today and his 11th of the season. He had 6 last week. He's something else. It's been a tough week for Janikowski. We'll address that later on.
We're talking about some of the surprises so far this year. You got to love what Marty Schottenheimer and the Chargers are doing. Kansas City offense. Dick Vermeil's got something that's starting to look like his deal in St. Louis a couple years ago. And Drew Bledsoe, is he a surprise? No, I'm just surprised not more people around the league were all over getting this guy.
How about disappointments?
Well, those are a little bit easier. I think the Rams, huge disappointments. New York Jets are disappointing themselves, their families, their fans, their pets. And the Redskins defense, didn't they used to have some real talented guys playing defense for Washington? Did they all retire at like 23?
Most expensive coordinator in the NFL. On 1st and 10, Bledsoe dumps it off to Henry, who's brought down by Harris. And a gain of about 5-6 on the play.
I'll go back real quick to that Washington defense thing. The last person that deserves any blame is Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis has got a great system. Marvin Lewis knows how to organize defense. The people executing those defenses for him are the ones that are making the mistakes, the ones that are causing the problems.
2nd down, long 4, 26-yard line. Here they come. Barton's got Bledsoe. A fumble on the play. Flags all over the field. That would be the 2nd sack if it stands. Let's see.
Well, the signal was for a personal foul, shot to the head. They're calling that against the Buffalo Bills. They pointed. There's Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator, is doing such a nice job of smiling and dialing right now and keeping Drew Bledsoe on occasion off balance, but he's got to keep attacking. He's got to keep bringing the blitzes. He's got to keep guessing.
Number 79 offense, hands to the face. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's the 6-time Pro Bowler Reuben Brown.
And Coach Bresnahan needs to keep doing these things with the linebackers. Watch the late blitz. There you go. That's what you have to keep doing, because you know what you have in Drew Bledsoe. Unlike Gannon, who'll run on the other side, when you play Drew Bledsoe, you know you have a quarterback that's willing to stand in the pocket to the last second to get the ball off. You can get him.
3rd down, 10 from the 20. Here comes Sam Adams. He gets away from Trace Armstrong. Got away from Romanowski. Then Tony Bryant finishes him off. At the 21, they came at him in an avalanche, and Bresnahan's defense works again.
They attacked. You know, a little bit in that last drive, we talked about that whole I think I can, I think I can. You know, the defense was kind of playing I think I'll watch. Now they're not watching. They're attacking. Romo's coming on a blitz. Perella's got a little game working. Tony Bryant and the defense is just coming and coming. They know they don't have an active target. They can miss them once and still get back and get a chance to get a sack.
Mormon's punt on 4th down for Buffalo. Buchanan. They'll take it, and then Watson takes him. 46-yard punt, tackled at the 34. The ex-Bronco, Chris Watson. Time now for our weekly NFL poll. Which team with high hopes that has stumbled out of the block is most likely to make the playoffs?
Wow. They don't leave you much there, do you? I like this team right here. Of all those groups.
And you still can't count out the Rams.
Well, they're 0-4. They've got more than a deep hole to crawl out of. Bill Cowher is a heck of a football coach. Not that any of the guys that are on that list aren't heck of a football coaches, but he knows how to build teams and knows how to remold winning teams. That's a solid team in Pittsburgh.
You can vote on that poll at NFL.com.
Remember what I talked about, the emotional amnesia. You've got to have it. 2:49 left. Oakland can put another stake in you here.
The pitch out to Kirby. Gets by Schobel. And then falls on the side. Bannon got him. Gain of 6 on the play. 2nd down and 4. Ball at the 40.
Well, if Charlie Garner can get a quick flip and get some yards, why can't you ISO Schobel and ISO the halfback? Everything goes this way, you flip it the other. There's the flip, there's the fake, and there's the matchup. I mean, asking a defensive end to play in space against a running back is almost cruel. And Schobel's a good athlete out of TCU, but that's a mean assignment.
2nd down, 4. Porter on the go. 39-yard line. The pitch out to Kirby again. Schobel makes the grab right there. This has got to be as creative and imaginative an offense that we'll see.
Well, you know what the key to that was right there? You were asking a wide receiver, Jerry Porter, to crack on a linebacker. That set up the run. Rich Gannon and the offense got it going on.
Couple running touchdowns for the Raiders. A toss by Gannon. 21-14 the score. Tonight after 60 minutes, it's 60 minutes of comedy. First, Nancy Travis will join Ted Danson on the season premiere of Becker. Then don't miss the premiere of a brand new series from the producers of Frasier, Bram and Alice. The LA Times said the other day, comedy pilots don't get any funnier than this. It's all here tonight on CBS after 60 minutes. Randy Cross, Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan. We're in sold-out Wilson Stadium in Orchard Park, New York.
Hey, I made the point about emotional amnesia and Bill Callahan's offense. Every time that the Buffalo defense tries to forget about their mistakes, tries to really get up emotionally and forget about what they've done against this Oakland Raider offense, Bill Callahan's offense kind of reminds them. Says, well, you know, you didn't do that flip very well last time. We're going to flip it on you again. You didn't cover Jerry Rice. I mean, this is the classic situation at the end of a half. You need some big plays. You need the defense to really rise up at this moment.
Look at the gain on first down, almost 7 yards. A pop. 36-yard line, 1st and 10. 2-minute warning. Here's the pass by Gannon. And incomplete, dropped, looking for Rice at the 42. 2nd down and 10. Each team with 3 timeouts left.
And if you're the Oakland Raiders here and you're on offense and you have it going the way you have it going, you just want to keep dialing. There's another unusual sight. You don't see Jerry Rice get a ball in his hands like that and not catch it and not bring it in. He's had 7 balls thrown to him today. The only one he's caught is that one kind of fluttering butterfly that he had to come back for.
44-yard line, 2nd down and 10. There's a pitch which goes errant. It was a pass. It's incomplete. It went forward. It's incomplete.
It doesn't matter what stadium you're in, at what level. College, pro, high school, pee-wee. Every time fans see this, the quick little flip, it's on the ground. Your brain screams fumble. Our ball. It's hard really to mentally get adjusted to the fact that that forward motion makes it a pass.
3rd down and 10. Pretty good. Raiders have been today on 3rd down from the 44. Good block by Ritchie. Deep for Rice. Downfield. Dropped again. Incomplete. Double teamed. Coy Wire was there along with Watson. But Rice did get some glove on that pass from Rich Gannon.
Look at Watson. They've come after him again. And Jerry Rice, you want to tell me at almost 40 years old, he can't run by a defense. And Rich Gannon throws this ball right where it needs to be thrown. When Jerry Rice sees this tape tomorrow or Tuesday, he'll know that's a pass he should have caught. Even with the adjustment, even with whatever wind and fluttered, that's a ball 99.9% of the time Jerry catches.
Buffalo with a good defensive stop.
Absolutely. That's what they needed.
Leckler's line drive punt will roll its way inside the 5 and caught by Derek Combs on the run at about the 2 and a flag. The flag is down at the 42.
It's a hold going against the Raiders. They'll have to re-kick it.
Nope.
Oh,
other way.
First indication was the
right.
other way.
I saw him. Bernie Kukar is our busy referee today. He's officiated a couple Super Bowls, a couple conference championships.
Trying to say we got a little United Nations going on here. Lots of flags.
They'll try to figure this out and take a look at Callahan. You talked before about, you know, has he stepped, you think, out of the John Gruden shadow? Is he the right leader right now?
More importantly, in Oakland right now, it's John Who.
Yeah.
You know, this team reminds me of the '89 San Francisco 49ers after Walsh retired. It was a team on a mission to prove they could do it without him.
Holding number 77 of the receiving team during the punt will assess the penalty from the spot of the beanbag.
Next till halftime report on deck. Jim, Dion, Dan Boomer all there for the scores and highlights. Next till halftime, next from New York.
Now Bernie's not going to make him play the rest of the half of the beanbag, right? Maybe the spot of the ball?
That'd be a different feel, wouldn't it? We'd have a different kind of game.
But what I was talking about there about, you know, the Niners in '89 didn't have Walsh, they had George Seifert, and I think they were on a severe mission. They wanted to prove they could win it again. They could do it, and they could reproduce that success. This Raider team, with the end of the season ending the way it did on that Tuck rule ruling, the turmoil in the offseason, losing their head coach, not only has Bill Callahan and his staff and his organization done a very nice job of adding players, adding plays, and improving, I think the players are on a mission to prove as an organization and a team that it wasn't all the Chucky doll. it wasn't all John Gruden. This is still a very, very strong football team. And, you know, Exhibit A would be what you've seen so far in the first 4 weeks of the season.
Buffalo marooned at their 2. 3 timeouts remaining. 1:32 to play in the second quarter. Bledsoe right to work. Here comes the rush, and he throws it away. The pass sails away from Peerless Price. John Perella was moving in the face of Bledsoe. Second down and 10.
When you've got Sam Adams and John Perella inside a defensive tackle, you need almost a sound effect machine if you're running replay, because you got it. You know that sound when you're at a parking lot and it's being resurfaced, the grater. There's nothing cute. They just sort of mush things up into the quarterback's face, and that's why Bledsoe couldn't complete that pass.
A trash compactor. Second down and 10 from the 2.
They're mushers.
Yeah, big mushers. Bledsoe again. Here comes Armstrong. There goes the pass. Caught at the 16-yard line by Peerless Price. It's a pickup of 14 yards. And some much-needed breathing space for Bledsoe.
The chubby fellows for the Raiders in the middle might be mushers, but these receivers from the Buffalo Bills, they physically have confidence in their quarterback. They don't want to disappoint him. They'll catch anything.
First and 10, 16. Bryant had a hand on him. Bledsoe moves away.
Wide open.
Deep. Peerless Price beat Rod Woodson at the 30-yard line.
And Torrey James, who was covering him man-on-man, fell down.
Buffalo, it's their first charge timeout.
Buffalo takes a timeout.
If you protect long enough for Drew Bledsoe and you're an offensive line, you know that this is the potential down the field. There's Torrey James. He just falls down. Drew Bledsoe just threw this thing as far as he could because he knew he had a chance to get it to Peerless Price.
What about the patience Bledsoe shows in the pocket? He was brushed on that previous play by Bryant, but he is so unfazed by all the commotion around him.
You know, I think realistically, when you talk about Drew Bledsoe in the pocket, patience is one word. I think fearless would be another. I think bravery would be another, because, folks, this guy does not run around. And these are the yards he had coming into this game today. And you know he's not going to run away from you. And the reason he has that patience in the pocket is he's willing to take that shot. He's willing to get that helmet in his chest, that helmet in his back, in order to get the ball down the field to his receivers. And that's one of the reasons, just one of many, many reasons, everyone here loves this guy so much.
After the 54-yard strike to Price, 30-yard line, first and 10. Centers in the backfield. From the Oakland 30, Larry Centers with the block from Wiemersma, and a stiff arm into Woodson. Centers to the 5, first and goal, Buffalo, a 25-yard pickup.
Well, remember when the defense was on the field for Buffalo, I talked about emotional amnesia, and they had the big rise up. They stopped Oakland. This is why you have the emotional amnesia and you stop an offense, because you know you've got an offense on your side that can move the ball against anybody. This defense of Oakland is not a bad defense, but Larry Centers and the Buffalo Bills offense is just smiling and dialing. I said it about Oakland, and it's working for the Bills.
Gains of 14, 54, and 25 yards through the air on the drive. First and goal at the 5. Larry Centers. Oh, he's still on his feet. Touchdown! The offense just covered, Randy, 98 yards in 52 seconds.
Beasley talked about how emotional Garner ran. There's an emotional run from a Bills running back, Larry Centers.
His first rushing touchdown of the season, one of the few he's had in his career. And that ties the game off the foot of Mike Hollis.
You know, Raiders owner Al Davis is here. Ralph Wilson, the owner of the Bills, is here. And Larry Centers in this Bills offense, and Rich Gannon in this Oakland Raiders offense, has got to have both these old-time owners having a little case of deja vu. This is back to the old days of the AFL. 21-21, end of the first half. There isn't any backup. There isn't any quit. and it's all imagination and offense.
For Larry Centers, that is only the 3rd rushing touchdown since 1998. So
yeah, why do you think he catches so many passes?
And we are tied at 21 in what is shaping up to be one of the great early season games in the NFL.
Yeah, but we talked about the Raiders coming in here at 250 some odd yards offense average. They're about at their average. But then again, Buffalo combined offense, both offenses so far in the first half, 515 yards. Defense? We don't need no stinking defense.
Not today, we don't. Here Gonzalez. Combs from the 10, bobbles it, reels it back in. Charles Johnson gets down there and brings him down. The 9-year veteran from Colorado. Now even the special teams are looking good for Buffalo, and that's been their Achilles heel. Wednesday on CBS, an all-new Amazing Race. The teams make their way through Mexico en route to their next destination. Could diving with Dolphins provide the clue they need? It's an all-new Amazing Race. Wednesday, 9, 8 Central here on CBS, America's most watched network.
And every Sunday till further notice, the other amazing races you're going to see are the AFC East, where the Buffalo Bills came in. Everybody thought they'd be the bottom feeders. They're far from going to be that. And the AFC West, which is wide open.
Even with 3 timeouts and at his own 13-yard line, Gannon will run down the clock. And that should take us to halftime. Buffalo has 2 timeouts remaining. You like this strategy?
There's times to be brave, there's times to be bold, and there's times to be smart. This is the time to be smart.
They're going to call a timeout. Buffalo calling a timeout.
That's their second charge timeout. The 30-second timeout.
Well, you mentioned the East. Some pretty heavyweight teams in there with Miami, New England, and I think now we can probably include the rejuvenated Buffalo Bills.
Without a doubt. You see the improvement of this football team week by week. They belong in the class with Miami and New England at the rate they're improving. The Jets belong in remedial football class. But I think that's probably the strongest division next to this division. The AFC West right now is where it is. The AFC West is where the offense is. There's not a whole lot of defense so far. Denver's got a little defense working, except for the other night against Baltimore.
Kansas City, wasn't that a shocking game? Kansas City will play the Jets later today. Denver is in San Diego. Oakland is here.
Last week we saw Kansas City beat up and embarrass the best team in the AFC East, the Miami Dolphins. So, you know, these two divisions get together. We saw 78 points last week. We've got 42 at the half. They might be able to one-up each other.
Final timeout taken by the Buffalo Bills.
And Greg Williams is another one of those coaches in the NFL. He's got to be standing there going, you know, I got this job because of my defensive prowess. Then they got me Drew Bledsoe. I'm a heck of an offensive coach.
A sensational first half. Gannon dueling against Bledsoe. 2 outstanding offenses. Raiders #1 in points scored in the NFL. Buffalo #4 in points scored in the NFL. And the first half left no doubt that the second half will be absolutely electric. And that's all you can do if you're the coach of the Buffalo Bills, is put a smile on your face and say, wow. Catch your breath. Downstairs to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I've got Coach Callahan. Coach, great game, but the Bills do take a little momentum into the locker room. What's going to be your message?
Well, no question. We knew it was going to be a long game. There's going to be adversity that's going to swing both ways in this game, but we don't dread it. We're just going to look forward to embracing it.
Thank you, Coach.
Tied at 21. Gannon has run in a touchdown, thrown a touchdown pass, and Charlie Garner has run in a touchdown. Bledsoe with a couple touchdown passes. We're tied at 21. Back here in Buffalo. This what you expected?
We knew there was going to be a lot of offense in here, but for the second half, folks, watch the defenses, watch the big turnovers. With balls going back and forth like this, the big thing is always a turnover late.
Moments ago, Beasley Reese caught up with Greg Williams.
Coach, we've got one heck of a game. You've given these fans their money's worth. What was your message in the locker room?
Big thing was defensively, we need to get a turnover this half or two. Try to give our offense 2 more possessions than they normally would have. But this is a rock'em sock'em game, and I hope that our conditioning wins out this half.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, some interesting comments. We saw Callahan going into the locker room and Greg Williams coming out of the locker room.
Conditioning, half the fans in the stadium are hyperventilating. I don't know if they're in good enough shape to handle another 42 points.
Here comes Janikowski's bouncing kick, which is recovered by Rogers at the 10. And then belted by Combs, and Shaw knocked out of bounds. 15-yard return. Nice special teams by the Raiders. Drew Bledsoe will take it. 15 of 25. Throwing in that first half, 2 touchdowns, sacked 3 times.
And despite the sacks number, I think you have to say that the offensive line of Buffalo has really done a good job protecting Drew Bledsoe, because this defense has been vulnerable, but they're vulnerable after about the 3 to 3.5 second mark. So they need the protection to get this ball down the field.
26-yard line, 1st and 10. Twice on the move. Travis Henry right into the secondary, into Buchanan, and then belted by Woodson and helped by Napoleon Harris. It took 3 to get him down after a gain as he bulldozes for 11 to the 37.
Well, I'm not saying anybody belted anybody that didn't make the guy change direction. You're absorbing hits. If he's going forward, you're going that way and running. Anybody that comes this way and hits you didn't belt you. He just happened to run into you.
That kid runs hard, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, a lot of emotional hard running by running backs in this game so far.
37-yard line, 1st and 10. Here comes Perella. There goes Bledsoe. Pass caught by Henry. Great move by Harris. Romanowski finally brings him down at the Raider 47. It's a pickup of 15 and a Buffalo first down.
And for those of you not familiar with Henry, you know, Travis Henry is a running back. He's 5'9", sort of out of the Emmitt Smith mold. 5'9", about 220. He is muscle upon muscle. And you see there, you cannot go to a Travis Henry and hit him, you know, up in his kitchen up top. You don't do much business up there on a guy that size. You've got to go down there around the knees and try to knock his feet out from underneath him. He'll just pound you.
Got a lot of pots and pans in that kitchen.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he hits you with them too.
From the 47, 1st and 10. Bledsoe quickly outside Eric Moulds. Stiff-arming his way into the defense of Buchanan. And because of that, picks up a first down to the Raider 33, a pickup of 13.
Well, Greg Williams is worried about the conditioning. You don't think they're coming in here to do a little business, do you? Watch Travis Henry block. Talked about his running. Nice block on Bill Romanowski. Nice straight arm by Moulds. This offense has come out of the gate, and Moulds here working against Buchanan drives him off. But this offense has come off just ready to do business and go stride for stride, score for score again with the Raiders.
Adams is out. Reserve linebacker Travion Smith is in. First down and 10 run. Travis Henry brought down by DeLawrence Grant. Napoleon Harris, who takes the place of Greg Beaker. Gain of about a yard. 2nd down 9 at the 32.
It's amazing this year how many offenses we've seen play against teams that going in you'd say, hey, they got a pretty good defense. Remember the Raiders in that night game playing against Pittsburgh? You go, man, Pittsburgh defense is tough.
Well, they were #1 last year.
Oh, yeah, and Porter had a big game. But they threw it, and they couldn't stop him. And right now, Bledsoe and this offense have got the Raiders sort of doubting what they're doing.
2nd down, short 9. Someone moved from the 32. And Bryant was on his horse and riding across the line. Defensively for the Raiders.
On his horse.
On his horse.
Ah.
Or on his buffalo.
Must be a Shetland pony. I didn't see much out there.
94 defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It had to be a pretty big horse to hold him.
Well, yeah, a very stout Shetland pony will work for you. A good one will do that. And, you know, you think, okay, what's going on today defensively? And here's our defensive leaders. Barton, linebacker, 6 tackles, 2 sacks. Defensive back. You're not seeing too many linemen in that list.
2nd down, short 4, and the handoff goes again to Henry, who picks up 8, gets a first down. He took it At about the 27, works to the 20-yard line of the Raiders. And Travis Henry has never run the ball better than today.
Well, remember I talked about his kitchen, upstairs, upper body strength, nice and strong. When you're grabbing him up top, you're not tackling, you're pawing.
No fumbles either.
And those are not form tackles. Granted, you're not getting a good shot on this guy, but another good example of pathetic tackling in this league. Form stinks.
1st and 10, Raider 20 for Buffalo. First possession, second half by either team. Klexler. Dave Moore, the tight end, brought down by Gibson, gains 5 to the 15-yard line.
And you know your offense is starting to really expand and get confident, and Kevin Gilbride on the sideline is opening the entire playbook. When Dave Moore, your long snapper on punts, has become a weapon. You know, the only weapon a long snapper usually is that he'll snap the ball over the punter's head. That's the weapon he can be sometimes, but Gilbride's got the backup tight end into the business now.
2nd down 5, a red zone matchup right there from the 15-yard line. Travis Henry blocked by Teague and a tackle by Chris Cooper on the defensive line for the Raiders at the 12.
A lot of stats can be misleading, and I think people on TV are as guilty as anybody about dwelling on kind of dumb stats at times. But red zone statistics, to me, it's your touchdown potential, your touchdown percentage. When you go into the red zone, you have got to go in there expecting to score a touchdown. Don't say, hey, we've scored 100% in the red zone. If you haven't scored a touchdown every time, you haven't done your job.
3rd down, short 2 at the 12. Bledsoe. Pocket crumbles, throws outside, incomplete, looking for Reed, covered by Gibson. Bledsoe's been hit a couple times. Who got to him? Cooper?
Chris Cooper right there at the end. Chris Cooper, I think, probably prevented a touchdown. Watch the pocket form. This is a classic pocket for a classic pocket quarterback. When he steps up, Cooper's just there to distract him enough to keep him from completing that pass. And we've already seen what a strong receiver Josh Reed can be. Remember this field goal, though, Kevin. If you're trading touchdowns, you're leaving an opening by kicking for 3.
Raiders defense holds Buffalo out of the end zone. 30-yard field goal try. And the Buffalo Bills have their first lead today. On top, 24-21 over the Oakland Raiders. First time the Buffalo Bills have been on top in this game, 24-21 over the undefeated Oakland Raiders. Moments ago, Hollis booting a 30-yard field goal and the ensuing kickoff. Kirby on the fly at the 15. Runs into his own blocker, Marcus Williams. Ball is jarred free. They mark it down. At about the 25-yard line, a return of 10 yards. Flag is down.
And last week, Buffalo was flagged twice for offsides. The trifecta.
Yep.
And Danny Smith, the special teams coach there, the Buffalo Bills.
33 of the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
And that's something that special teams unit of Coach Smith doesn't need. And Greg Williams makes a great point. He says, look, our special teams coverage teams have been dominant at times. In the first game, they got burned twice by Chad Morton. Punt return in the second game. It's just, if you're dominant some of the time, you're leaving yourself open for a serious problem, and having to recover like this again, right back to back, is usually the formula for disaster.
CBS Monday is America's best night of television, starting with the King of Queens. Yes, dear, everybody loves Raymond, still standing. CSI Miami and the Late Show with David Letterman after local news. Monday here on CBS, America's most watched network. So now the ball will be teed up at the 25.
Well, everybody might love Raymond, but if you're on the kickoff team, you don't love the guy, whoever it was they called for that offside.
Yeah.
You got to sprint, do another 70-yard sprint with people trying to knock your block off.
They got it right this time. Terry Kirby at about the 17-yard line. Got hit by Jason Bostic and brought down out near the 36. So they pick up about 11 extra yards on the play. Rich Gannon and his Raiders down for the first time today.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Nextel, how business gets done. And by Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Well, it looks good. The Anchor Bar here in Buffalo, they came up with the Buffalo Wings. Beef on wet, Buffalo Wings, and Buffalo Bills football. They lead it by 3. Gannon, 1st and 10. Dropped by Joey Porter, who caught a touchdown pass earlier in the game from Gannon, 2nd down and 10.
You know, this is one of the football teams in the Oakland Raiders that does something as well, if not better than most teams, and that's what they do on their first possession. What's that usually tell you? They score touchdowns, they make great adjustments. But I would make an argument right now for Bill Callahan's team. What exactly do you have to change? They came back on the other side and moved it. They didn't change much. Keep doing what you're doing. They haven't stopped you yet.
2nd down and 10, 37-yard line. And up to about the 40-yard line, a gain of 3 on the play. That was Garner. Let's go downstairs to Beasley Reese.
Thank you, Kevin. Looking at this Buffalo defense, I'm pretty impressed. You know, this is a multifaceted offense for the Oakland Raiders. Now, Buffalo's goal is to get 11 men on the tackle or around the pile at least 12 times this year. Coach Williams told me they've done it 4 times. That's the type of hustle, the type of running to the ball they're looking for. Back to you.
3rd down, short 7 at the Raider 40.
Right now, they got to get somebody to cover every Raider receiver. Play clock's down to 1. Timeout.
He's got to burn a timeout.
Timeout. Oh.
Important early 2nd half play coming up when we return. Randy, the Raiders just called a timeout. They've got it 3rd down and a short 7 at their 40.
They're a team, we've made the point numerous times, known for their short passes and their crossing patterns. But we've also seen today there's some business to be made down the field.
Gannon was grabbed, got away, down he goes! The first sack today by the Buffalo Bills. Aaron Schobel, Chidi Ahanotu combining on the stop, and Oakland has got a punt.
Well, the crowd was a factor with the noise, and the defense is a definite factor. Watch the levels, 1st level, 2nd level, and then you'll see the quadrants and the pockets open up. Where's he gonna go? Covered? Everybody's covered.
Shane Leckler to punt. And they're setting up the return. Rodgers is back, line drive boot, returnable, 18-yard line. Sliding by, finally brought down by the long snapper, Adam True. 9-yard return, 45-yard punt. More Bledsoe, more of the time.
And a big guy is an athlete. I like that.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And by Burger King. Say hello to the new 99-cent BK value menu.
Say the closer you stand to that, the more you feel the ground shake. Bill's offense has made the ground shake a couple times today inside Wilson Stadium.
If you stay at our hotel we were at, you feel the ground shake on a pretty good regular basis.
After the Oakland punt, 30 make it the 26-yard line, 1st down and 10 for Bledsoe. Going to a pass, gets by Eric Boat, throws downfield, intercepted for the first time in over 3 games. Drew Bledsoe has thrown an interception. That one was picked by Torrey James, his first of the year.
Here's the pump right there, the pump. Torrey James never moves and then steps and breaks on the ball. That's a mental error by Drew Bledsoe. The receiver that was open was the receiver he pumped to on the other side, Peerless Price.
That's his first interception in his last 176 pass attempts. It goes back to opening day. So James picks off Bledsoe. And Rich Gannon has it. 32-yard line. in Buffalo territory, 1st and 10.
Keep bringing the heat. Man up, bring the heat.
Gannon going right to work to the side. He's got his tight end, Roland Williams. A good move by Wingfield. Then upended by Clements. The ball is down. It is not a fumble. The ball is down at the 18-yard line. It's a gain on the play of 14 yards. Williams' first catch of the game and a 1st down for the Raiders.
What to watch for here is the signal by our head linesman, Phil McKinley. Coming in from the side. Roland Williams is flipped up in the air. He's used to seeing high-powered offenses. He was with the St. Louis Rams. The ball hit as it contacted the ground. Good call.
18-yard line, 1st and 10. Jerry Porter shimmies inside the 10, diving to the 9, close to a 1st down, a pickup of 9 on the play.
We're seeing two defenses now that almost have to attack, because when they sit back, the receivers on both sides have got such a good meld with their offensive counterpoints. Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator, has really got to attack Rich Gannon in this offense to break the chemistry and timing.
9-yard line, 2nd down and 1. Garner in the backfield.
Stack.
That's the direction that Gannon goes to the end zone. Incomplete. Was it deflected? The flag is down. It was intended for Brown in the back of the end zone.
You see those stacks and those bunches of receivers. A lot of times you get different things working. Holdings.
We got to put time on. There was no play. No play.
We have delay a game, 94 defense attempting to draw the offense into a false start. That's half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Aaron Schobel on the defensive line.
And what that really is, a couple of years ago, it's that anti-flinch rule. Remember the great defensive ends, guys like Neil Smith and Derek Thomas for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they'd get out there on 3rd down and they'd flinch, that little flinching motion. And now they've made things like that illegal. And Schobel, I don't know if he was intentionally flinching, but he did flinch on that and they called it.
Chidi Ahanotu comes back in the game. 1st and goal. Raiders at the Buffalo 4.
Hey, you know, defenses love to dictate things to the offense. Right now, the defense of Buffalo is just sort of looking, hoping, and guessing because Oakland is dictating.
Tyrone Wheatley is in. Porter is on the move. Wheatley the call. And he'll slice his way to the 1, picking up 3. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
And that showed a little bit of that power, that offensive line up front for the Oakland Raiders.
Number 70.
Barrett Robbins, Frank Middleton.
Number 70.
The rookie Langston Walker, who's been in there for Lincoln Kennedy, who didn't play today because of the concussion. You got a strength, you go to it. The strength of this organization and football team for decades has been their offensive line.
Brad Badger is eligible. 2nd and goal at the 1. That is a touchdown run by Zach Crockett. His first touchdown of the season, and the Raiders are back on top of the Buffalo Bills.
That was right over Barry Sims and Matt Stinchcomb. Stinchcomb, 74, in at left guard. He's playing for where Steve Wisniewski used to be. Blocked down by Sims, blocked out by Stinchcomb. Left guard comes out and pulls. Good job by Crockett, just following it into nothing. Talk about, you know, running to air. All that was in front of Crockett was air.
Janikowski extra point. And the Buffalo Bills fall behind 28-24. Zach Crockett with the touchdown run. And they pay off the interception of Drew Bledsoe. The Raiders cash in. Zach Crockett with the 1-yard touchdown run. Drew Bledsoe's interception gave the Raiders great field position.
And yes, there are some silver and black believers here in Orchard Park. Not many, but there are some.
Janikowski's kickoff will sail into the end zone. And it'll be left there. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Jesse James never even came close to stealing what Wall Street is accused of stealing. Who's going to get him? We'll tell you who and how tonight on 60 Minutes. Then at 60 Minutes of Comedy, first the season premiere of Becker, then the series premiere of Bram and Alice. The LA Times says comedy pilots don't get any funnier than this. Followed by the CBS Sunday movie Hell on Heels. Battle of Mary Kay, starring Shirley MacLaine. That's all tonight here on CBS. After the touchback by Janikowski. On the kickoff, 1st and 10, Bledsoe at his own 20-yard line. Down the middle he goes. Dave Moore, the tight end, grabbed by Napoleon Harris. Up to the 33, pickup of 13 yards on the play.
And Kevin, you know the analogy I use all the time about the rhythm of offense, kind of like being a boxer who's on his toes and he's bouncing and he's jabbing and he's moving. It's the feel you get right now with these offenses, the way they've been all day long. Drew Bledsoe is not in a rut. He's not just doing one thing. He's crossing patterns to his tight end, Dave Moore and Jay Remersma. Kevin Gilbride there, his offensive coordinator, is dialing Peerless Price. He's dialing Eric Moulds.
1st and 10 from the 33. Deep drop by Bledsoe. Quick dart, caught by Henry. He got away from a couple Raiders. A face mask on the play. The flag was thrown. And he picks up 8. And decked out of bounds at about the 41-yard line.
I'll tell you, Buffalo got lucky because they had 2 holds to buy Bledsoe the time to throw that pass. Both offensive guards were almost tackling the defensive tackles. It almost doesn't seem fair that an offensive player can jam a straight arm in a defensive guy's face.
Grabbing and pulling on the face mask, 36 defense. We'll add 15 yards to the end of the run. First down.
Wait a minute, you used to play offense.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, if he does it right, watch the straight arm. Bang. If he gets that straight arm in there just at the right time, Gibson, the second-year player out of FSU, really doesn't have anywhere to go with his hands. It almost drives his arms up in the guy's face. See the straight arm kind of straighten the other guy's arms out? I'm not saying it's completely not fair. I mean, I have very little empathy or sympathy for defensive players.
Right. 44-yard line, 1st and 10. Pitch out to Travis Will to Henry, and he is stopped for no gain. Barton was there, Woodson was there. 44-yard line, 2nd down and 10.
I'll tell you, Eric Barton has played himself a heck of a game so far.
Very active.
And Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders, has shown a lot of faith in Barton because he's brought him in a lot of different circumstances. He's blitzed him on the pass. He's brought him in the run. You know, remember, the marquee linebacker right now is the middle linebacker, Napoleon Harris, number 58. We haven't called Napoleon Harris his number too often. He's playing middle linebacker. He played outside in college, but he's got those big guys, Perella and Adams, in there to kind of protect him.
2nd down, 10. Bryson is in the game, offers a block, and that ball on a deflection is caught by Moulds at the 31-yard line.
Trace Armstrong, a little zone blitz look. The defensive end dropped back into the zone. It was almost, you know, defensive lineman fantasy camp. See Armstrong on the right side, get his arm up, he tips it. The receiver, Eric Moulds, stays with it. So you'll see Trace Armstrong right there. He drops back, he gets the tip. You want to talk about concentration. That is incredible concentration by a receiver, and nice try by a defensive lineman, Trace Armstrong.
3rd catch today by Moulds, #1 receiver in the NFL, 31-yard line, 1st and 10. Screen pass to Travis Henry. Great move, and finally brought down by Napoleon Harris. At about the 23-yard line, it's a gain of 7 on the play.
You know, you hear talked a lot about Rich Gannon, how he delivers the ball from different places. Watch Drew Bledsoe get back into the pocket here, and he doesn't throw over the top. He throws sideways in this one. Getting the rush from Perella, says, well, if I can't go over him so much, I'll kind of flip it around him.
And did well.
Oh, and got good blocking up front and good positive north and south running from his young running back, Travis Henry, out of the University of Tennessee.
23-yard line, 2nd down and 3. Good day for Henry. Here comes the blitz. They got Barton on him, and Bledsoe wisely throws it away. Here's Eric Barton again. On his weekly NFL.com column, Boomer Esiason talks about the pressure a quarterback has on a losing team. Whether it's because of poor play, injuries, or lack of inspiration, all quarterbacks know they sit on the hot seat. Read all about it, NFL.com, or keyword NFL.com.
The quarterbacks. Are we picking on quarterbacks?
I knew you were going to get in there.
Oh. That's why they make the big bucks.
Third down, short 3 inside the 24. Look for Price. He's been a great third down receiver today. Bledsoe to the side. And it is caught at the 2 to Eric Moulds.
You got any questions, Kevin, about the chemistry and the coordination between this quarterback and his receivers? Torrey James does an excellent job of covering Eric Moulds down the field. Excellent job up front of pass blocking. But when the break comes and Eric Moulds looks back for the ball, watch where Eric Moulds is originally running and look at him stop. Bang, because he knows where Drew Bledsoe is going to deliver the ball on the outside shoulder. Started to look like a fade and ends up being sort of a mini comeback to the outside.
Gain of 21. First and goal. Henry ran into his own blocker. It didn't matter. He's banging his way in for a touchdown. And Buffalo reclaims the lead. A player down for the Bills. That is Philip Crosby.
Well, remember the boxing analogy. This is another offense on its toes and bouncing. There's Kevin Gilbride, the Angelo Dundee of the Buffalo Bills offense. He gets the strategy.
He's the cut man.
He teaches them the technique. No, that's the cut man.
Yeah.
Because he's cutting this Oakland Raider defense up. Jabs with the run, jabs with the screen, and the big right hand, Eric Moulds down the field.
Just delivered a roundhouse right with a nice pass before to Eric Moulds, which sets up that touchdown run by Travis Henry. Second lead today for the Buffalo Bills, now 31-28 over the Oakland Raiders.
You talk about passion. Watch the passion of a running back and the effectiveness of the inside 3 blocking. Tight end Dave Moore is driven back into the backfield. Look at it, he's disappointed. Dave Moore gets driven into the backfield. Travis Henry does not stop. Why should you stop? You just got hit by your own guy.
Boy, some long drives today by the Buffalo Bills.
How about 3 80-yard drives and a 98-yard drive?
Monday on CBS, have you seen the #1 new comedy of the season? It's Still Standing. A show that dares to show the truth about the hood. Parenthood. Don't miss Still Standing. Monday right after Raymond here on CBS, America's most watched network.
You know, I love about some of the comedies we have on CBS is the kind of anti-hero, laughable guys.
There are a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, you got King of Queens.
Kevin James.
Kevin James, kind of a schlumpy guy. You know, you like to pick on. He's always kind of the dummy. Still Standing. Dads kind of look like a dummy. They're funny.
Ted Danson and Becker.
Yeah, I got on a daily basis. My daughters look at me like I'm a dummy.
Hey, it's not limited to your daughters. Hollis has it teed up at the 30. And after the touchdown run, Terry Kirby gets the kickoff at the 13. Brought down, nice tackle made by Denman. 15-yard return. Boy, Bledsoe looks good. Let's go downstairs to Beasley Reese.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. I want to talk about the legend being born here in Buffalo. To the man, the Bills, when they came in our meetings yesterday, they talked about believing in Drew Bledsoe, knowing that they were never out of a game. So he makes the one mistake on the interception, comes back with the big drive. It is a legend that is growing here in Buffalo. Back to you.
You know what, without exception, too, you talk to fans in the hotel lobby and at the restaurants. All they want to talk about is Drew Bledsoe right after they tell you how much they hated him when he was a New England Patriot.
28-yard line. First and 10. Fake end around Gannon. With time, now it crumbles. He gets by Bannon, and he has to slide down because Fletcher is flying in. The ball was jarred free. Gannon gets in the face of London Fletcher.
Yeah, well, they're going to throw 15 yards in London Fletcher's face, I think.
He got Gannon on the ear hole.
Yeah, you can go after young running backs, and you can go after young defensive ends or wide receivers. You can't go after quarterbacks.
Hitting the quarterback after he slides. 59 defense, an additional 15 yards.
And the key here, folks, is not the fact that it's a hard hit. And granted, this is a continuation deal, the fake. It's a reverse. No, it's not. It's a pass. He's scrambling. As soon as the quarterback goes into the slide, he's given up. You can't pile into him like that. You've got to go over the top. You've got to try to stop. That's a very deserved penalty. I mean, you can't follow through and finish him. The play's over as soon as that guy slides.
Terry Kirby's in the backfield for Gannon, who stations himself at the 45, 1st and 10. Looks one way, throws the other. Rice bobbled it, vacuums it in, has a first down to the 44, 43-yard line of the Buffalo Bills, a pickup of 12.
Does he get credit for 2 catches? Is that how he got to 1,350-something catches?
Wow.
That's amazing, you know. And the analogy I used earlier about Buffalo, they're bouncing, they're moving, they're jabbing. The same thing with Rich Gannon in this offense. There's a rhythm to it.
43-yard line, 1st and 10. Kirby in the backfield. The Barrett Robbins snap. Good block by the rookie right tackle. Downfield caught and bobbled by Rice. I don't recall a day that Jerry Rice has dropped 3 passes in one game, let alone 3 passes an entire season.
Well, you know, 1 or 2 of those you could say, well, they're near the ground, it's tough, it's coming over his head, it's tough. This one right here is 6 points. It's thrown on a rope, there's very little air, it's led him perfectly. It's a touchdown. That's the 10th ball to Jerry Rice today, but only the 2nd catch and the 3rd drop.
Rice has played 18 years in the NFL. This is only the 2nd game he's played in Buffalo. 2nd down, 10. Kirby on a screen. Pat Williams tripped him up and brings him down. No gain on the play. How can a man that big and that wide and that slow move like that and bring down the elusive Kirby?
Motivation. You know, that's a motivated football player. That's a big football player. But you look over, I mean, look at Greg Williams. This team is starting to take on Greg Williams' personality. We talk about the job that Callahan's done for the Raiders. This team is becoming like Greg Williams wants them to be. They're aggressive. They hustle. They don't quit. And they'll fight you and punch you to the end.
3rd down, 10, 43 of Buffalo for Oakland. Gannon to the side, incomplete. 4th down. He was looking for Porter, who is covered by Clement. And they'll have to punt.
And what a nice job by Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator of Buffalo. We talked about it on the last possession. They seem to be kind of watching, not attacking. Great example there of Jerry Gray's defense just attacking and going after Rich Gannon in this offense. You've got to attack a timing offense. You can't stand back. They'll cut you up.
Leckler set to punt. The Adam True snap. Rodgers, little pooch, and rolling into the end zone.
A chihuahua. A little pooch.
A little pooch. 43-yard punt. Well, are you winning your fantasy matchup? Get real-time scores and stats for your fantasy team at CBSSportsline.com or on AOL, keyword CBS Sportsline. Bledsoe's thrown 2 touchdown passes. Larry Centers has a touchdown run. Travis Henry has a touchdown run. And the field goal by Mike Hollis of 30 yards could prove to be big.
Do you remember the game several years ago between Buffalo at San Francisco when Steve Young and Jim Kelly had the big duel where it's offense, more offense? This looks a lot like it.
From the 21st and 10, popped up and dropped. Incomplete. Romanowski had a chance to get it after Torrey James was covering on the sideline. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
That is amazing. The ball stays in the air that long and no one catches it. Torrey James again doing an excellent job. Maybe getting a hold of him a little bit, but you know, if they don't call it, it's not bad. And one tip into the air by Woodson, another kind of brush by Romanowski. Those are the opportunities you got to take advantage of.
2nd down, 10, late 3rd quarter. From the 20-yard line for Bledsoe. Travis Henry caught up by Trace Armstrong and brought down. Loss of 2.
Hey, remember at the beginning of the game, Kevin, I talked about field position being so key, and field possession has been key. They haven't gotten very good field possession. Buffalo's had 10 possessions. 7 have started at the 20 or less. Of course, they've driven it all the way from there.
The third quarter contained 3 lead changes. We go to the fourth with Buffalo on top. We begin the fourth quarter at Wilson Stadium, Orchard Park, New York, with Randy Cross and Beasley Reese. This is Kevin Harlan. 3rd down and 12. Bledsoe at his 18.
Remember the point about turnovers and big mistakes in the fourth quarter.
Bledsoe has thrown 1 pick. That is the only turnover of the game, and the Raiders cashed in with a touchdown. Bledsoe nicely moves up in the pocket, throws a first down pass to Eric Moulds. The catch at the 40-yard line, covered by Rod Woodson. He picks up 22 on 3rd down and 12.
I can see it right now back in the set at NFL Today. Dan Marino saying, you know, guys don't have to scramble. Drew Bledsoe bought the time for Eric Moulds to get that pass because he did a Marino. He kind of sashayed, shuffled, you know, sort of squirmed in the pocket away from the pass rush.
And looked good doing it.
Oh, yeah. Who looks marvelous.
1st and 10. From the 40-yard line, handoff goes to Travis Henry. Chris Cooper brings him down near the 43, a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. Before we go to that, let's send you to New York in our studios in Jim Nantz.
All right, the Patriots are trying to rally down at Miami. It's Brady with his 2nd touchdown pass of the second half to David Patton on both occasions. 10-point Miami lead at the 2-minute mark. Miami possession, and the Dolphins are at the New England 30. Let's go back to you guys.
Jim, thank you. New England has never won in Miami in September and October.
And
0-for-12.
There's a lot of teams in this AFC East that don't go to Miami and win, like most of them, especially in September and October.
2nd and 7 from the 43. Goes outside to Henry, being chased by DeLawrence Grant. Finally brought down on the far side by Derek Gibson, a gain of 1. So it'll be 3rd down and about 6. Bledsoe's numbers today coming in as the #1 percentage quarterback in the NFL, the #2 rated quarterback overall. And he has thrown a pick, the first since opening day.
And the #1 rated quarterback overall across the sideline.
Yep, Rich Gannon. Yep.
And we've seen both these quarterbacks just put on passing clinics, and their offensive lines have given the time to put on those clinics.
3rd down 5. With a 45 as Bledsoe goes down the sideline. He had Josh Reed incomplete, and he knows it. He knows he had him. 4th down, and Buffalo will indeed punt.
And the main reason Drew has to be so disappointed with himself is he just a little bit, not a lot, a little bit hurried and got a little greedy. And he had the time to have a little more patience and wait to get it down the field.
Ryan Moorman will punt, and he's one of the top punters in the NFL, #2 coming into today. Philip Buchanan, the rookie, is deep back inside the 15.
And he needs to keep it away from Buchanan.
Wow, look at this one. He jacks it way up there, landing at the 1, creeping into the end zone. 56-yard punt. A couple of weeks ago, he had a 70-yard boot in Mile High Stadium in Denver. Buffalo just punted. Oakland will take over at the 20-yard line on the touchback. 1st down and 10.
There's one guy you better cover right now. He's had a rough day so far, but Jerry Rice will not stay down long.
Gannon on 1st down and 10. A block by Sims. A pass caught by Jerry Porter. He's to the 26, 27-yard line, and he picks up about 7 yards on the play.
Eddie Robinson makes the tackle.
Porter's had a touchdown reception. That was early in the game.
And one thing that's so impressive about this offense, and for that matter the Buffalo offense too, but specifically Gannon in this offense, is how crisply, how quickly they get these plays off. They're not very long plays. They're so accurate though. They're so well thought out.
27-yard line, 2nd down, long 3. Shovel pass caught by Garner, blocked by Stinchcomb. And he's out past the 35 to the 36, picking up 8 and a Raider 1st down.
And there's a good example. You talk about a long pass. you know, in the books that'll go for X yards. Rich Gannon threw that 2 yards. Took it 2, took it 10. Threw it 2, took it 10.
Result is what matters. Colts on top of the Bengals and other scores. Look at that one down in New Orleans. 1st and 10. Raiders are down by 3. They've got it outside their 35. Empty backfield for Gannon. With time, down the side, looking for Rice or Garner. They were both about 10 yards apart. Nonetheless, incomplete pass.
It's been a frustrating day for my old teammate, Jerry Rice. The man should wait not 1 day to go into the Hall of Fame after he retires. The heck with 5-year waiting period, but this aggressive Buffalo Bills defense is making him earn every little thing he gets. He's had a drop, and this drop was 6 points. But if I know Jerry Rice, his bad plays are behind him for the day.
2nd down, 10, 35-yard line. Gannon's going to change it up. Play clock in 1.
No, didn't make it. Didn't make it. No play.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
We have 2 quarterbacks today. Bledsoe on Buffalo, Gannon on the Raiders side. Good at changing their volume, changing their inflection when they're calling their cadence.
And they're both quarterbacks that are smart, and they're doing that for a reason. They're trying to go after specific people and get a cheat out of the defensive backfield to get a read on the coverages. But the Raiders have 9 penalties now for 110 yards.
They had 10 last week against Tennessee. 2nd down, 15.
That will come back to haunt you eventually.
Inside the 31. Good block by Sims. Time for Gannon. Right down the middle. It's caught by Garner. It's a foot race, and he's in for the touchdown. 69 yards, a career high. And the Raiders are back in business.
You're worried about the receivers. What's going on here? What's going on here? They bring a receiver right up the gut. As soon as it's caught at 6 points. You wondered earlier about the Roadrunner and the Coyote. The Roadrunner was Charlie Garner. The Coyote was London Fletcher trying to cover him man on man.
Charlie Garner scores his 2nd touchdown of the day. That one through the air before he ran it in. Rich Gannon has thrown 2 touchdown passes, and he has run in a touchdown. Garner hobbling on the side after rumbling 69 yards.
Charlie Garner's fast before he catches it, and he's a blink once he hauls it in.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM. E-business is the game. Play to win. New Campbell's Chunky Roasted Favorites. Hearty soups that fill you up right. And by Chevy Trucks. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Well, I tell you what, back and forth we've gone. 4 lead changes in this game.
And I made the point with a different team. I think the Raiders are under Bill Callahan, and we'll see how different they are. 5 times last year they blew 4th quarter leads.
Garner being assisted on the sideline. Garner will be out momentarily. And this goes to Rodgers deep in the end zone. Another touchback. 4 touchbacks today by Janikowski. Subway postgame show is on deck. Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer have scores and highlights and NFL news. The Subway postgame show next from New York.
Well, those guys might be there till 60 minutes just showing the offensive highlights from our game.
A lot going on. And that does not look good if you're a Raider fan. Hamstring?
Yeah, as fast as he was running, re-entry might have got him.
He was as fast as a blank, you're right. 20-yard line for Bledsoe in the shotgun. 1st and 10. Here comes Romanowski. 2nd down and 10. To the sideline in Beasley Reese.
All right, guys, Charlie Garner of the Raiders, after that fantastic run, We talked about how fast he ran. He might have run a little bit too fast. His left hamstring is really sore. They are working on it right now, and his return is questionable. Back to you.
They need him.
That's a weapon. We talked about Gannon's running being an extra weapon, but Charlie Garner catching and running with the ball is something that really helps define this Raider offense.
Second down 10 from the 20. Bledsoe got blocking that time. Throws outside. Caught by Peerless. Price up the sideline. Out of bounds at the 39-yard line. A pickup of 19. And he was chiseling on Derek Gibson on the side.
You know, I feel like I stepped into a time warp and I should be watching Jack Kemp and Darryl LaMonica slinging the ball back and forth in the Bills' old stadium in downtown Buffalo. It's amazing what these two offenses are doing against defenses that aren't that far away, that aren't making bad plays. The offenses are just this good today.
From the 39, 1st and 10, Travis Henry. Nice block by Jonas Jennings to get something out of what would have been nothing. The left tackle with a nice block, a gain of 3 on the play. Second down 7. Ball will be at about the 41, 42-yard line. They're still working on Garner.
But really, if you want to talk about the Oakland Raiders and holding a lead and the possibility of a Charlie Garner being out for a little while in this football game, the power running game comes into play, and that's Tyrone Wheatley. Wheatley's job is to sort of be the anti-Garner for Bill Callahan and the Oakland Raiders and eat up some clock once you get a lead. But holding the lead is the defense's job, and stopping Drew Bledsoe is something they've rarely done when he hasn't helped them do it.
Bledsoe's going to burn a timeout. Facing second down and 8 at the 41.
That's their first charge timeout.
First timeout today by the Bills. Fireworks here at Wilson Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. Rich Gannon, 2 touchdown passes, a touchdown run. Charlie Gardner has run a touchdown in, had a touchdown reception of 69 yards. And that last one of 69 yards has given the Raiders a 35-31 lead. Second down and 8 from the 41. Bledsoe, good block by Williams. Down the field goes, caught. And then dropped by Reed, or did he catch it? Lassoed at the 42, held on, 17-yard gain and a first down.
You know, a cliche like threading the needle, just slipping it between players, all of the above. Drew Bledsoe put that ball in the exact perfect spot, and it's something we've seen Drew Bledsoe and Rich Gannon do on numerous occasions, because look at all the passing yards in this game. I mean, we're talking about over 600 yards of passing, and this is starting to look like that game in '92 between the Niners and the Bills. 1st and 10, Bledsoe at the 42 of the Raiders, slings it down the sideline, caught by Moulds, covered by Buchanan, 14-yard pickup, and he's out of bounds at the 29. Bledsoe has thrown 2 touchdown passes today, 2 touchdown runs, 1 by Centers and 1 by Henry. And we've talked on numerous occasions about the chemistry. Look at the drive off by Eric Moulds. The first move, the rookie Buchanan, Phil Buchanan, he's got to bite on the first one. He's got to honor a guy like that. And Moulds has 6 catches for 91 yards.
Travis Henry held by Cooper, banged by Gibson on 1st and 10, takes it down to the 27-yard line, a gain of about 2 or 3 on the play. And the Dolphins coming back from that shellacking in Kansas City last week to beat New England today.
No surprise. At Miami, that team has such a great relationship in that heat with those fans, and the whole deal early in the year is almost impossible to win in Miami.
New England has lost 2 in a row.
That mean they're dumber? I mean they're less of the world champs?
We'll find out.
Yeah, I love it. Well, nowadays it does. In reality, not.
Second down, 8 from the 27. Here comes Trace Armstrong. Bledsoe's on the run. Almost picked off by Buchanan. Incomplete, intended for Price. It'll be 3rd down and 8 to go.
Wow.
Bledsoe has been on the edge a couple times today.
Right? You know, it's almost like street ball. You know, I want you to run a curl, go behind the guy. I'm going to bounce it off his helmet, and you're going to have to get it on the ricochet, because he's throwing this ball to Price. But the slight detail of Buchanan sitting there in between them. And that's a situation, honestly, you want to get Drew Bledsoe out of the pocket and running. Because Drew Bledsoe out of the pocket, throwing on the run, is nowhere near as accurate and effective.
On the 27 of the Raiders, 3rd down and 8. Bledsoe chased by Cooper, chased by Adams. There's intercepted by Buchanan, the rookie from Miami. And there he goes.
See ya.
That's it. Buchanan's 2nd touchdown in as many weeks. Last week returned a punt for a touchdown.
That's his 2nd interception attempt in as many plays. He should have had the one before, and he gets this one. Drew Bledsoe not in the pocket. I will re-emphasize. Get him on the run, make him throw and move. Good grab. This is why a guy's drafted number 1. He's used to big games at Miami. He talked yesterday about knowing Deion Sanders, talking to Deion Sanders, and he does a Deion Sanders.
81-yard interception return for a touchdown, and Janikowski's extra point is in. Bledsoe had not thrown interceptions since opening day. He's thrown 2 today. The Raiders have converted those 2 turnovers into 2 touchdowns, and that's their lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time. And by GM Goodwrench Service Plus, your automotive service experts.
The undefeated Oakland Raiders lead the Buffalo Bills 42-31. First round pick out of Miami, Philip Buchanan, just picked off Bledsoe, racing 81 yards for the touchdown. And the subsequent kickoff by Janikowski. Out of the end zone, Charlie Rogers. Hit and brought down viciously on the play by Eric Johnson. 19-yard return. Up to the 17-yard line. Miami wins, New England loses, and the Buffalo Bills are at 2-2 coming into this afternoon.
Just trying to keep pace. They really have to just keep pace with the Miami Dolphins. And don't fool yourself, folks, at just about 8 minutes to go in this game to think an 11-point lead is safe. If you think 11-point lead is safe, you have not been paying attention to what's happened in the 3.5 quarters since we started this thing about 3 hours ago.
We've had 4 lead changes in the second half alone. 17-yard line, Bledsoe first down and 10. Pocket troubles again. Bledsoe hit and brought down. DeLawrence Grant, his first sack of the season. Bledsoe sacked for the 4th time today.
And that is what they've done in his last 2 drives. Is Bledsoe's the quarterback who's going to be in the pocket. You know where to find him. First, they pressured him out of the pocket. Now they pressured him around the pocket, and they had their chance to get him from behind. You've got Bryant coming from the right. You've got the pressure upside with Perella and Adams. And you've got, once again on the outside, Grant coming back and getting that sack.
Second down, 14 from the 13. Bledsoe hit by Romanowski. And Romanowski gets his 2nd sack of the season. A loss of 8. Chuck Bresnahan's defense, as you call it, is dialing in the right number.
Well, Chuck Bresnahan's defense on that case was Bill Romanowski coming on the blitz, beating the block right there by Travis Henry and closing on the quarterback. Right now, Chuck Bresnahan's defense has been aggressive, and they have finally dialed it in, like you said, and found what they need to do against Drew Bledsoe. They were losing key matchups on blitzes and not getting the pressure they needed. In the last 2 series, pressure has been the whole story, and Romo had the last sack.
There's centers at the side of Bledsoe. 3rd down, 22 inside the 5. Bledsoe winding up, going deep, looking for Moulds. Incomplete. Covered by Torrey James. It's 4th down, and the Bills have got a punt.
Remember what we talked about, too, that this is the classic part of the game. If you're the Oakland Raiders now, you get this punt, you know what you do? You bring Tyrone Wheatley in, you bring 2 tight ends in, and you slam that ball. And remember something about Buffalo's defense. No turnovers in the last 11+ quarters.
Mormon to punt in the shadow of his own crossbar. And after the good Raiders defensive stand where they sacked Bledsoe twice, the ensuing punt. It's Buchanan breaking away and tackled by the punter Mormon. Flag is down. Return of 32 yards. The punt sailed 52 yards. Buchanan moments ago just picked off Bledsoe, returned it 81 yards for a touchdown, which gives Oakland the 11-point cushion they now enjoy. That is against the Raiders.
And part of the cushion that Philip Buchanan enjoyed was as a result of an illegal block in the back.
He had a couple of those last week, didn't he, when he returned the punt against the Tennessee Titans? A couple clips that were not called.
Illegal block in the back, number 38 of the receiving team during the run back. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Look at the offense, if you just joined us, that you have missed. The critical part, two turnovers by Drew Bledsoe, who came into this game without any interceptions and 150 some odd passes, and both those interceptions resulted in touchdowns for the Raiders. That was 14 points to the Raiders' advantage because of those two picks.
And to think that he had gone 176 consecutive passes since week 1 till today with no interceptions at all.
And what we have to think here now about is turnovers if you're Buffalo's defense. But Buffalo's defense, once again, has not created a turnover in 11+ quarters.
Wheatley in the backfield, 32-yard line, 1st and 10 for Gannon. Throwing on first down, caught by Jerry Rice. He's got a first down. And the collision at the 44, pickup of 12 on the play. Let's check in on the sideline with Beasley Reese.
All right, thank you, guys. I've been told by the Raiders that Charlie Garner is available, but Randy Cross, as you predicted, they've gone big people with big running backs in the game, but he is available. Back to you.
Hey, you know, B, it's one thing that's different about this team, too, and what the players love is Callahan has no back down and back off. They might be going big people, but we've already seen it's not like they're just plowing the ball. They'll keep throwing.
It's Wheatley on 1st and 10, grabbed by Williams and hailed by Pat Williams. Half-yard gain on the play. 2nd down, short 10, long 9. Coming up, Gardner had that long touchdown reception of 69 yards.
He might be available, Kevin, but helmet in the hand, jersey kind of rolled up, shirt not tucked in. He's got "I'm ready to go take a shower" written all over him right now.
He's earned it.
But what a game. I mean, and his burst and what he adds to this offense is nothing short of what Marshall Faulk does for the St. Louis Rams back in the old days when the Rams had an offense.
Kirby in the backfield, 44-yard line, 2nd down, 10. Gannon going deep for Joey Porter. Broke one tackle, then brought down by Prelo. Porter caught a touchdown reception earlier today. He's at the Buffalo 20. The clock continues to roll. 1st down and 10, the Raiders.
You got to think of an old offense that played here in Buffalo for years. The old K-gun with Jim Kelly. No back down, no kill the clock offense. If you're getting ready to play the Oakland Raiders and Rich Gannon is their quarterback, you better bring the whole load for the total 60 minutes, knowing that they're going to throw every weapon they have at you for the whole 60 minutes.
1st down and 10 from the 20. Williams, the tight end in the backfield, and Kirby goes outside to Rice. Breaks a tackle from Clemens. And that shuts the door on the Buffalo Bills. Jerry Rice, a 20-yard touchdown reception.
Tell you, for me, I love an offense like this. Remember the old movie Wall Street, Kevin? Gordon Gekko, Michael Douglas's character. Greed is good. When you're an offensive coach, greed is good and more is better. And if you can go to Jerry Rice more, despite the fact that he's coming in with 10 passes at him and only 2 catches and a couple drops, keep going to Jerry Rice, baby, because he is going to pay you in the end.
Raiders pulling away here in the 4th quarter. Janikowski extra point. A 20-yard touchdown reception by Jerry Rice. number 197 of his career.
Well, you know, let's do a little quick internet poll out there for sportsline.com. Anybody care to click in and argue with me that this is the best offense in the NFL? I'm not sure this is the best team in the NFL because it's too early to determine that. But this is the best offense going right now. Forget St. Louis. They're obviously not in the mix. 485 yards offense with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Bill Callahan has improved one of the top in the game.
Rich Gannon has thrown 3 touchdown passes today. He also has a rushing touchdown, so 4 touchdowns for Gannon. Charlie Gardner has 2, 1 through the air and 1 on the ground.
Yeah, but think about it, Kevin, what you've seen here. I mean, and a great performance by the Buffalo Bills and their offense. But on the other side of the field, Greg Williams from the Buffalo Bills has said, hey, look, who is the star? Who do you stop? They've given you Rice. They've given you Gannon. They've given you Garner. They've given you Brown. They've given you Porter. I mean, good luck defending these guys if they're not having a bad day.
Rodgers at the 15-yard line on the Janikowski kickoff. And brought down on the play by Marcus Knight, a reserve wide receiver. 17-yard return up near the 30-31-yard line. The Subway postgame show is on deck. Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer have today's scores and highlights and some surprises. That's the Subway postgame show from our studios in New York next.
And oh, by the way, let's wish a happy 40th birthday to Jerry Rice. This time next week, Jerry Rice will turn the big 4-0. And for those of you that already celebrated that event, remember what you were doing on the day you turned 40 years old. Well, he'll be out running around stadiums in the NFL, catching passes and scoring touchdowns.
Set more records. Bledsoe 1st and 10, playing from behind. For the first time today as his tight end, Jay Remersma near midfield. 17-yard pickup. Buffalo with 2 timeouts and the Oakland Raiders with 2 timeouts. Where do you put Jerry Rice, Randy Cross, in the landscape of all NFL players? Not receivers, all NFL players.
He's in the top of this landscape, obviously, with the numbers he has. Last week, he broke Walter Payton's total yardage record. He's got more touchdowns than anybody's ever scored. Jerry Rice, in my opinion, is the best player to ever play the game in the NFL. I don't care what era, I don't care what. You name somebody that's had a bigger contribution than Jerry Rice and has had a bigger influence on his position.
From the 50, 1st and 10, going deep for Moulds, incomplete. 2nd down and 10. And you say these comments on a day which has been very un-Rice-like. A lot of drops.
Yeah, very average. He dropped a touchdown pass, but I told you at the point where he had 10 thrown to him and only 2 catches, don't give up on Jerry. They'll go back to him. He'll do something big. And, you know, sure enough, he went. You know you're winning a game, though. Look at Jerry chewing away. When you're 40 almost, you need your sustenance. You got to have your energy. So he's got a snack. You get to be a little older, you've got a snack between meals.
A snack that bears his name. They're like gummy bears.
Well, you got a snack between meals. It's important. I mean, you could be stopping.
2nd down and 10. Bledsoe being chased by Pirella. Out of bounds at about the Raider 45. It'll be 3rd down and about 5 to go.
Of course, it doesn't hurt that a guy like Jerry Rice has got a metabolism like a hummingbird. Plus the workout and the work ethic that he has had since he's about 21 years old. That's just incredible.
He wanted to bulk up. In fact, in training camp, he was up about 210, 212, 214, but he didn't feel right. He watched tape of himself during camp practices and said, I got to get back down to how I was. So he's now about 194, 193.
Well, he looked right last week going 73 yards against the Tennessee Titans, and he looked pretty good in that last touchdown pass.
3rd down and 4 from the 45. Flag is thrown. Here comes Trace Armstrong and Travion Smith. There goes Bledsoe. Sliding down to the 33-yard line.
Down by contact.
Down by contact. Ball was jarred free. 12-yard scramble.
Decline that.
Offside, 75 defense. Penalty is declined. 1st down.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, Jesse James never even came close to stealing what the Wall Street Gang is accused of stealing. Who's going to get him? We'll tell you who and how. Tonight, 7-6 Central on 60 Minutes.
And just like Jesse James, they eventually caught him, right?
Mm-hmm. And his brothers.
And I hope the same fate awaits all those guys. A lot of people around this country are hurting because of guys like that. IRA accounts.
Inside the 33, 1st and 10. DeLawrence Grant bearing in on Bledsoe, who throws downfield for Riemersma, incomplete at the 22. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Hey, really, we've seen the last 3 possessions of the Buffalo Bills. Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders, do to Drew Bledsoe in this offense what you need to do when they're throwing the ball. You've got to collapse the pocket. And if they collapse the pocket, you have to sack him. If you can't sack him, flush him out of the pocket, make him run, because he has not thrown well on the run. And they've managed to get 5 sacks today on Bledsoe.
2nd down 10 inside the 33. Bledsoe outside. That is dropped by Riemersma. Trying to go underneath the coverage by Terrence Shaw. You know, the defense of the Raiders, Randy, with some nice off-season acquisitions. John Perella, Bill Romanowski, Rod Woodson. Then they draft Napoleon Harris, who eventually takes the place of starting middle linebacker Greg Biekert. And this kid Buchanan from Miami, who has been electric over the last couple weeks.
And don't forget Sam Adams up front at defensive tackle. A lot of questions. Everybody talks about the Raider offense. What sort of a defense do the Raiders have? They gave up a lot of yards today, folks. But this is as good an offense they're facing in Drew Bledsoe and the Buffalo Bills right now as there is in the league. And they've stood up, they've stopped it when they had to, and they've been the difference.
3rd down and 10. Here comes Adams. Flags are thrown. Pass is caught by Centers. Tumbling at the 29. 5-yard gain as it stands right now. Jets in Kansas City getting started. Miami with a win over New England.
No surprise there. Ricky Williams got 36 carries against New England. The way they haven't been able to stop Priest Holmes and LaDainian Tomlinson, you knew they'd feed him the ball, and it worked.
Well, very well.
74 offense. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So Miami wins their 7th consecutive home game. They go to 4-1. And Jay Fiedler again orchestrates a nice offensive effort. Where at home he is flawless. I mean, he ran a touchdown in early in the game to kind of get the offense going for Miami.
Well, you know, he is the Dolphins right now. He's their leader. It's something they haven't had for a couple years. Obviously, our boy back in the studio, Dan Marino, was the guy for seemed like about 3 decades in Miami, and they found a new leader.
Inside the 43, 3rd down and 20 for Drew Bledsoe. And rifles a pass caught by Moulds, who came into today as the #1 wide receiver in the NFL. Picks up 10. Clock is stopped with 3:15. 2 timeouts for the Bills and 2 timeouts for the Oakland Raiders. Raiders next week will play at St. Louis on CBS. The Buffalo Bills go to Houston, take on the expansion Texans.
And then Bill Callahan and the Oakland Raiders the week after that have San Diego. And what could be a real big showdown in the AFC West.
And then at Kansas City after that.
So it's that's when the schedule starts, folks. If you love your team, but you'll get a much better idea of how they play once they start playing in their division.
On 4th and 10 against Peerless Price, gain of 15 yards. Ball is at the 18-yard line of the Oakland Raiders.
I make that point about divisional play because that's how teams that are properly built are made to. That's the way they're built. They're built to win within your own division.
1st and 10. Outside Moulds. Shoved out a play by Buchanan. Picks up a 1st down to the 7-yard line. 1st and goal.
And you get a little picture here of why the community, why the football team, why the organization loves Drew Bledsoe right now so much. This is a team that doesn't have any quit in it. They're down 18 points with 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And I guarantee you those faces facing Drew Bledsoe in the huddle, every single one of them, all 10 of those guys believe they can still win the game because they have him at quarterback.
32 of 51 for Bledsoe throwing today. 1st and goal at the 7. Low snap and to the end zone and incomplete. Price blanketed by Dorsett. 2nd down and goal.
Whoa.
0-5. Steelers lose today. They're 1-3.
This is going back to the old non-glory days of go for 8-8 or 9-7, and you got a chance to dominate like the old AFC Central.
And the AFC South.
Is that a surprise or what?
I'm shocked by those.
Tennessee 1-4.
Second down, goal at the 7. Bledsoe's thrown a couple touchdown passes today. That's deflected and intercepted for a third time. Picked off by Tory James for a second time. So Bledsoe had gone 3 straight games with no interceptions. Today he throws 3, 2 to Tory James. And that'll do it. With 2:29 to play and the Raiders on top 49-31.
When you live by the pass, as the Buffalo Bills do, you got to be willing to die by it also. And so far today, we've seen Drew Bledsoe and the Buffalo Bills do as much, if not more, damage to themselves at times than the Oakland Raiders defense has. Bledsoe trying to make it happen, trying to fit it into Jay Riemersma. Once again, the Oakland Raiders defense is there to tip it and is there to be the factor. We talked about turnovers at halftime being the factor and being the deciding part of this football game. And that's why Bill Callahan's team is going to win, is the turnovers.
First down and 10 after the turnover. 23-yard line. Tyrone Wheatley. Brought down by Ron Edwards. Gain of 2 up to the 25. Buffalo takes their second timeout. They'll have 1 left. So if you give Buffalo the loss today, and we still have 2:29 to play, 2:23 to play, they go to 2-3. Jets are playing as we speak against the Kansas City Chiefs. New England is lost in Miami.
Yeah, I like Miami and what they've done. You know, adding Ricky Williams has been the winning part of the puzzle. That will enable them later in the year to be much more of a factor because they run it and they're such a threat. And that's why San Diego and Oakland are so good, is because they are such threats.
25-yard line, second down and 8. Crockett in the game. Pass goes outside to fullback John Ritchie, who is banged into by Winfield, then rolls his way to the 32, about a yard shy of a first down. Picks up 7. Buffalo takes a timeout.
Yeah, we talked about the best divisions, and this sort of settles out as the year goes on. And yeah, I think it's hard to argue against the fact that the AFC West isn't the best division in football. If Kansas City at 2-2 is in your cellar, you've got Denver, Oakland, San Diego. You just wait another week or so. When this division starts playing each other, you're going to really find out how good it is. But I think it's the best division in football.
San Diego is playing Denver right now in San Diego. That start by the Chargers, Randy, has been terrific with their new coach, Marty Schottenheimer, a new quarterback in Drew Brees. They've begun 4-0 before, but I don't think anyone thought they'd start 4-0 this year.
But one thing you won't see in a Marty Schottenheimer football game is like this one, 973 yards of total offense so far.
Third down and 1. Gannon takes it himself on the bootleg and slides up to the 38, picking up a first down, which will take us to the 2-minute warning.
I'm starting to think it's us. Last week, 78 points. This week, 80 points. Offense is back.
And the Raiders look like they're back and in full glory. We've seen some of the biggest scoring games this year than in the last decade. I mean, this is just unbelievable, the scoring in the league now.
It only convinces me more and more now how close college and pro have become as a game. The temporary renting of players in professional football has become like the temporary status of student athletes at colleges. It's almost identical.
Again, the Raiders scoring today. Rich Gannon, 3 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. Charlie Gardner caught a 69-yard touchdown reception, also ran in a touchdown, and Jerry Rice had a touchdown reception. Bledsoe, 2 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions. The first 2 converted into 2 touchdowns by Oakland, and that was the difference in the game. Now with no timeouts, Buffalo cannot stop the clock. Gannon will have the extra long cadence and go to a knee.
Hey, we made the point at halftime, Kevin. The turnovers are so critical.
7, 8.
When you're in a game that's going back and forth, score for score, it's always decided in the fourth quarter by the turnovers. And we saw 3 interceptions today by Drew Bledsoe in the fourth quarter.
The executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Tony Petitti. The coordinating director, Larry Cavallina. Today's game produced by Bob Dekas and directed by Steve Milton. The senior producer of the NFL Today, Eric Mann. The director, Bob Matina. The coordinating producer of CBS Sports, Harold Bryant. The associate director of today's game, Fred Johnson. The broadcast associate, Jason Headings. The technical manager, Rick Godwin. Special thanks to our statistician, Pat McGrath, and Gary Brown. Coming into today, the NFL had 2 undefeated teams. We know at least one remains that way. Raiders will go to 4-0. The Chargers, the other one, playing right now against the Denver Broncos.
Well, Bill Callahan's football team, like I keep saying, has improved off last year. Lost in the divisional playoffs. We're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league. Right now, they might be the best team in the NFL. He's improved them. We got to hold off and saying what good they're going to be for the long term. But right now, they're the team you have to measure up against, in my opinion.
Subway post-game show is on deck in New York with Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer. Well, it lived up to the hype. We expected to see a ton of offense, and that's exactly what we saw. Jerry Rice got a touchdown pass. Rich Gannon was almost flawless this afternoon.
Are you kidding me? Almost 1,000 yards and 80 points? It doesn't get any better.
And now for Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan saying so long. This is the NFL on CBS.